Act 1, Scene 1. The bedroom in Reverend Samuel Parris's house, Salem, Massachusetts, in the spring of the year 1692. As the curtain rises, we see Parris on his knees beside a bed situated in the centre of the stage. His daughter Betty, aged 10, is asleep in it, but the headboard blocks our view of her. The slow rising of light revealing the scene should imply the dawning of day. One emphatic source of light is at the left, but since the stage is surrounded by black velour, freedom is given to light the area as the imagination requires. The only backdrop in all the scenes of the play is of black curtains at the back and sides of the stage. The curtains at the sides of the stage, legs, are parallel to each other and parallel to the front of the stage. There are 3 of these curtains on each side of the stage. All entrances are made between these legs. Across the back of the stage is 1 curtain. In front of the curtains is a misty bluish lighting effect. This can be achieved by a pipe of lights directly in front of the black backdrop. Rays of light can extend slightly downstage to be used as definitive upstage border for the acting area. This makes the black backdrop less stark and produces a sheet of light to appear as the backset of the wall. The mood must be one of high mystery, impending revelation. There will be a straight wooden chair to the left of the bed, another at right and upstage of it, and a flat-topped clothes chest where convenient. The relative placing of these objects depends upon the acting scheme rather than upon the requirements of the normal bedroom idea. In any case, the idea of this furniture is stark, utilitarian, and beautiful in that direct way. Across the back of the stage, a curtain of bluish light relieves the blackness of the drapes. It will be possible for an actor to stand behind this light curtain and to be barely visible to the audience as he awaits his entrance. Until he steps through this curtain, he will be inactive and in fact not present in the stage. However, entrances may be made directly from off stage if preferred. As Parris prays, Tituba appears behind the light curtain. She is his Negro slave in her 50s. She hesitates before entering, then steps into the acting area, approaches her master, glancing over his back at the child on the bed.
My Betty be hearty soon.
Out of here.
My Betty not going die.
Out of my sight. Out of my...
Tituba exits hurriedly. He kneels again. He is overcome with sobs.
My God. God help me.
Quaking with a body full of fear and uttering indecipherable syllables of sobs.
Child, dear child, will you wake? Will you open up your eyes, Betty, little one?
Abigail Williams, 17, enters, a strikingly beautiful girl, an orphan, with an endless capacity for dissembling. Now she is all worry and apprehension and propriety.
Uncle, Susanna Welcott's here from Dr. Griggs.
Oh, the doctor. Let her come, let her come.
Come in, Susanna.
Susanna Walcott, a little younger than Abigail, enters.
What does the doctor say, child?
Dr. Griggs, he bid me come and tell you, Reverend Sir, that he cannot discover no medicine for it in his books.
Then he must search on.
Aye, sir, he have been searching his books since he left you, sir, but he bid me tell you that you might look to unnatural things for the cause of it.
No, there be no unnatural causes here. Tell him I have sent for Reverend Hale of Beverly, and Mr. Hale will surely confirm that. Let him look to medicine, and put out all thought of unnatural causes here. There be none.
Aye, sir, he bid me tell you.
Speak nothing of it in the village, Susanna.
Go directly home and speak nothing of natural causes.
Aye, sir, I pray for her.
Goes out.
Uncle, the rumour of witchcraft is all about. I think you best go down and deny it yourself. The parlour's packed with people, sir. I'll sit with her.
And what shall I say to them? That my daughter and my niece I discovered dancing like a heathen in the forest?
Uncle, we did dance. Let you tell them I confessed it, but they're speaking of witchcraft. Betty's not witched.
Abigail, I cannot go before the congregation when I know you have not opened with me. What did you do with her in the forest?
We did dance, Uncle, and when you leaped out from the bush so suddenly, Betty was frightened, and then she fainted, and there's all of it.
Child, sit you down.
I would never hurt Betty. I love her dearly.
Now look you, child. I have no desire to punish you. That will come. But if you traffic with spirits in the forest, I must know it. For surely my enemies will, and they'll ruin me with it.
But we never conjured spirits.
Then why can she not move herself since midnight? This child is desperate. It must come out. My enemies will bring it out. Let me know what you have done there, Abigail. Do you understand that I may have enemies?
I know it, Uncle.
There's a faction that is sworn to drive me from my pulpit. Do you understand that?
I think so, sir.
Now then, in the midst of such disruption, my own household is discovered to be the very center of some obscene practice. Abominations are done in the forest.
It were only sport, Uncle.
I saw Tituba waving her arms over the fire when I came on you. Why was she doing that? And I heard screeching and gibberish coming from her mouth.
She always sings her Barbados songs and we dance.
I cannot blink what I saw, Abigail, for my enemies will not blink it. I saw a dress lying in the grass.
A dress?
Aye, a dress. And I thought I saw someone naked running through the trees.
No one was naked. You mistake yourself, Uncle.
I saw it. Now tell me true, Abigail. Now my ministry's at stake. My ministry and perhaps your cousin's life. Whatever abomination you have done, give me all of it now, for I dare not be taken unaware when I go before them down there.
There is nothing more. I swear it, Uncle.
Abigail, I have fought here 3 long years to bend these stiff-necked people to me. And now, just now, when there must be some good respect for me in the parish, you compromise my very character. I have given you a home, child. I have put clothes upon your back. Now give me upright answer. Your name in the town, it is entirely white, is it not?
Why, I'm sure it is, sir. There be no blush about my name.
Abigail, is there any other cause that you have told me for a goody Proctor discharging you? It has troubled me that you are now 7 months out of their house, and in all this time no other family has ever called you for your service.
They want slaves, not such as I. Let them send to Barbados for that. I will not black my face for that any of them.
Enter Mrs. Anne Putnam. She is a twisted soul of 45, a death-ridden woman haunted by dreams.
No, I cannot have anyone. Why, Goody Putnam, come in? Why, Goody Putnam?
It is a marvel. It is surely a stroke of hell upon you.
No, Goody Putnam, it is...
How high did she fly? How high?
No, she never flew.
Well, sure she did. Mr. Collins saw her going over the Ingersoll's barn and come down light as a bird, he said.
Now, look you, Goody Putnam. She never...
Enter Thomas Putnam, a well-to-do, hard-handed landowner near 50.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Putnam.
It is Providence. The thing is out now. It is Providence.
What's out, sir? What's...
Why? Her eyes are closed. Look you, Anne.
Why, that's strange. Ours is open.
Your little Ruth is sick.
I'd not call it sick. The devil's touch is heavier than sick. It's death, you know. It's death driving into them, forked and hoofed.
Oh, pray not. Why, how does your child ail?
She ails as she must. She never waked this morning, but her eyes open, and she walks and hears not, sees not, cannot eat. Her soul is taken, surely.
They say you've sent for Reverend Hale of Beverley.
A precaution only. He has much experience in all demonic arts, and I...
He has indeed, and found a witch in Beverley last year, and let you remember that.
Now, Goody Anne, they only thought that were a witch, and I am certain there be no element of witchcraft here.
No witchcraft? Now look here, you, Mr. Paris.
Thomas, I pray you, leap not to witchcraft. I know that you least of all, Thomas, would ever wish so disastrous a charge laid upon me. We cannot leap to witchcraft. They will howl me out of Salem for such corruption in my house.
Now look you, Mr. Paris. I've taken your part in all contention here, and I will continue. But I cannot if you hold back in this. There are hurtful, vengeful spirits laying hands on these children.
But, Thomas, you cannot...
Anne, tell Mr. Paris what you have done.
Reverend Paris, I have laid 7 babies unbaptized in the earth. Believe me, sir, you never saw more hearty babies born, and yet each would wither in my arms the very night of their birth. And I have spoken nothing, but my heart has clamored into nations. And now this year, my Ruth, my only, I see her turning strange. A secret child she has become this year, and shrivels like a sucking mouth were pulling on her life, too. And so I thought to send her to your Tituba.
To Tituba? What made Tituba?
Tituba knows how to speak to the dead, Mr. Paris.
Goody Anne, it is a formidable sin to conjure up the dead.
I take it on my soul. But who else may surely tell us what person murdered my baby?
Woman.
They were murdered, Mr. Paris. And mark this proof. Mark it. Last night, my Ruth were ever so close to their little spirits. I know it, sir. For how else is she struck dumb now, except some power of darkness would stop her mouth? It is a marvelous sign, Mr. Paris.
Don't you understand it, sir? There is a murdering witch among us bound to keep herself in the dark. Let your enemies make of it what they will. You cannot blink it more.
Then you were conjuring spirits last night.
Not I, sir, not I. Tituba and Ruth.
Now I am undone.
You are not undone. Let you take hold here. Wait for no one to charge you. Declare it yourself. You have discovered witchcraft.
In my house? In my house, Thomas? They will topple me with this. They will make of it a...
Enter Mercy Lewis, a sly, merciless girl of 18.
Your pardons. I only thought to see how Betty was.
Why aren't you at home? Who's with Ruth?
Her grandma come. She's improved a little, I think. She gave a powerful sneeze before.
Ah, there's a sign of life.
I'd fear no more, Goody Putnam. It were a grand sneeze. Another like it will shake her wits together, I'm sure.
Will you leave me now, Thomas? I would pray a while alone.
Uncle, you've prayed since midnight. Why do you not go down and...
Oh, no. I'll wait till Mr. Hale arrives.
Now look you, sir. Let you strike out against the devil, and the village will bless you for it. Come down, speak to them, pray with them. They're thirsting for your word, mister. Surely you'll pray with them.
I have no stomach for disputation this morning. I will lead them in a psalm, but let you say nothing of witchcraft yet. I will not discuss it. The cause is yet unknown. I have had enough contention since I came. I want no more.
Putnam crosses left to above table, gets his hat, crosses and exits.
Mercy! You go home to Ruth, do you hear?
Aye, Mum.
Anne goes out.
If she starts for the window, cry for me at once.
Crossing to door.
Yes, Uncle.
There is a terrible power in her arms today.
Goes out with Putnam.
How is Ruth sick?
It's weirdish. I know not. She seems to walk like a dead one since last night.
Betty?
Betty doesn't move. She shakes her.
Now stop this, Betty. Sit up, now.
Have you tried beating her? I gave Ruth a good one and it wakes her for a minute. Here, let me have her.
No, he'll be coming up. Now look you, if they be questioning us, tell them we danced. I told him as much already.
And what more?
He saw you naked.
Oh, Jesus.
Falls back on bed. Enter Mary Warren, breathless. She is 17, a subservient, naive girl.
What shall we do? The whole village is out.
What'll we do?
I just come from the farm. The whole country's talking witchcraft. They'll be calling us witches, Abby.
They'll be calling us witches, Abby. She means to tell, I know it.
Abby, we've got to tell. Witchery's a hanging error, a hanging, like they'd done in Boston 2 years ago. We must tell the truth, Abby. You'll only be whipped for dancing and the other things.
Oh, we'll be whipped.
I never done none of it, Abby. I only looked.
Oh, you're a great one for looking, aren't you, Mary Warren?
Betty whimpers.
Betty? Now, Betty dear, wake up now. It's Abigail. I'll beat you, Betty. My, you seem improving. I talked to your papa and I told him everything. So there's nothing to...
I want my mama.
What ails you, Betty? Your mama's dead and buried.
I'll fly to mama. Let me fly.
Raises her arms as though to fly. Mercy and Abigail thrust them down.
I told him everything. He knows now. He knows everything,
Betty suddenly springs off the bed, rushes across the room to the window where Abigail catches her.
You drank blood. Abby, you drank blood.
Dragging Betty back to the bed and forcing her into it.
Betty, you never say that again. You will never.
You did. You drank a charm to kill John Proctor's wife. You drank a charm to kill Goody Proctor.
Slaps her face.
Shut it. Now, shut it.
Collapsing on the bed.
Mama, Mama.
She dissolves into sobs.
Now you look, you. All of you. We danced. And Tituba conjured Ruth Putnam's dead sisters. And that is all. And mark this, let either of you breathe a word or the edge of a word about the other things, and I will come to you in the black of some terrible night, and I will bring a pointy reckoning that will shudder you. And you know I can do it. I saw Indians smash my dear parents' heads on the pillow next to mine. And I have seen some reddish work done at night, and I can make you wish you had never seen the sun go down.
Betty cries louder. She goes to Betty, sits left side of bed, upstage of Mercy, and roughly sits her up.
Now you, sit up and stop this.
Betty collapses in her hands.
What's got her? Abby, she's going to die. It's a sin to conjure, and we...
I say shut it, Mary Warren.
Enter John Proctor.
Oh, I'm just going home, Mr. Proctor.
Be you foolish, Mary Warren? Be you deaf? I forbid you leave the house, did I not? Why shall I pay you? I'm looking for you more often than my cows.
I only come to see the great doings in the world.
I'll show you a great doing on your arse one of these days. Now get you home.
Mary crawls up and out.
My wife is waiting with your work.
Rising, crossing to entrance, titillated, being aware of their relationship.
I'd best be off. I have my Ruth to watch. Good morning, Mr. Proctor.
Mercy sidles out. Since Proctor's entrance, Abigail has stood, absorbing his presence, wide-eyed.
She's only gone silly somehow. She'll come out of it.
So she flies, eh? Where are her wings?
Oh, John, sure you're not believing she flies.
The road past my house is a pilgrimage to Salem all morning. The town's mumbling witchcraft.
Oh, posh. We were dancing in the woods last night and my uncle leaped on us. She took fright is all.
His smile widens, crossing to door.
Dancing by moonlight. You'll be
Abigail springs into his path.
You'll be clapped in the stocks before you're 20.
Barring his way at the door.
Give me your word, John. A soft word.
No. No, Abby. I've not come for that.
You come 5 miles to see a silly girl fly? I know you better.
I come to see what mischief your uncle's brewing now. Put it out of mind, Abby.
John, I'm waiting for you every night.
Abby, you'll put it out of mind. I'll not be coming for you more.
You're surely sporting with me.
You know me better.
I know how you clutched my back behind your house and sweated like a stallion whenever I come near. I saw your face when she put me out. You loved me then, and you do now.
Abby, that's a wild thing to say.
A wild thing may say wild things. I've seen you since she put me out. I've seen you nights.
I've hardly stepped off my farm this 7 month.
I have a sense of heat, John, and yours has drawn me to the window. Do you tell me you've never looked up at my window?
Perhaps I have.
I know you, John. I know you. I cannot sleep for dreaming. I cannot dream, but I wake and I walk about the house, and though I find you come in through some door.
Child.
With a flash of anger, throwing his hands off.
How do you call me child?
As 3 or 4 persons off stage begin a quiet chant, a psalm or a hymn.
Abby, I may think of you softly from time to time, but I will cut off my hand before I'll ever reach for you again. Wipe it out of mind.
Takes her arms.
We never touched, Abby.
Putting hands on his shoulders.
Aye, but we did.
Pushing her away.
Aye, but we did not.
With a bitter anger.
Oh, I marvel how such a
beating her fist against the chest.
Strong man may let such a sickly wife be.
Coldly grabbing her wrists.
You'll speak nothing of Elizabeth.
He is blackening my name in the village. She's telling lies about me. She is cold, snivelling woman, and you bend to her. Let her turn you like her.
Shakes her.
Do you look for whipping?
Outraged and in tears.
I look for John Proctor that put knowledge in my heart. I never knew what pretense Salem was. I never knew what lying lessons I was taught by all those Christian women and their covenanted men. And then you bid me tear the light out of my eyes. I will not. I cannot.
Shakes free.
You love me, John Proctor, and whatever sin it is, you love me yet.
He turns abruptly to go out. She rushes to the door, blocks it.
John, pity me. Pity me.
The word Jehovah is heard in the psalm, the song outside. Betty claps her ears suddenly and whines loudly.
Betty?
She hurries to Betty, who is sitting up and screaming. Proctor crosses down to upper left of Abigail, who is trying to pull Betty's hands down, calling, Betty! Proctor is growing unnerved, calling, what's she doing, girl? What ails you? Stop that wailing, girl! Singing has stopped in the midst of this, and Paris rushes in.
What happened? What are you doing to her? Betty!
Rushes to the bed, crying, Betty, Betty, as Anne crosses to above Paris, feverish with curiosity, and with her Putnam, who crosses to behind her.
She heard you singing, and suddenly she's up and screaming.
The psalm! The psalm! She cannot bear to hear the Lord's name.
Oh, God forbid.
Mark it for a sign. Mark it.
Rebecca Nurse, 72, enters. She is white-haired and leans upon her walking stick.
That is a notorious sign of witchcraft afoot, a prodigious sign.
My mother told me that when they cannot bear to hear the name of...
Rebecca, come to her. We're lost. She suddenly cannot bear to hear the Lord's name.
Rebecca crosses to the bed. Giles Corey enters. He is 83, knotted with muscle, canny, inquisitive, and still powerful.
There is hard sickness here. Giles Corey, so please to keep the quiet.
I've not said a word. No one here can testify. I've said a word. Is she going to fly again? I hear she flies.
Man, be quiet now.
Rebecca stands by Betty, who becomes quiet.
What have you done?
Pray, calm yourselves. I have 11 children, and I am 26 times a grandma, and I have seen them all through their silly seasons. And when it comes on them, they will run the devil bow-legged, keeping up with their mischief. I think she'll wait when she tires of it. A child's spirit is like a child. You can never catch it by running after it. You must stand still, and for love it will soon itself come back.
Aye, that's the truth of it, Rebecca.
This is no silly season, Rebecca. My Ruth is bewildered. Rebecca, she cannot eat.
Perhaps she is not hungered yet. Mr. Parrish, I hope you are not decided to go in search of loose spirits. I've heard promise of that outside.
Wide opinions running in the parish that the devil may be among us, and I would satisfy them that they are wrong.
Then let you come out and call them wrong. Are you our minister or Mr. Hale? Did you consult the wardens of the church before you called this minister to look for devils?
He is not coming to look for devils.
Then what's he coming for?
There'll be children dying in the village, mister.
I see none dying.
Pray, John, be calm. Mr. Parrish, I think you'd best send Reverend Hale back as soon as he come. This will set us all to arguing again in this society, and we thought to have peace this year. I think we ought to rely on Dr. Griggs now and good prayer.
Rebecca, the doctor's baffled.
If so he is, then let us go to God for the cause of it. There is prodigious danger in the seeking of loose spirits. I fear it. I fear it. Let us rather blame ourselves and...
How may we blame ourselves? I am one of 9 sons, the Putnam seed of the people of this province, and yet I have but one child left of 8, and now she shrivels.
I cannot fathom that.
You think it's God's work? You should never lose a child, nor a grandchild either, and I bury all but one.
When Reverend Hale comes, you will proceed to look for signs of witchcraft here.
You cannot command, Mr. Parris. We vote by name in this society, not by acreage.
I never heard you worried up so on this society, Mr. Proctor. I do not think I saw you at Sabbath meetings since snow flew.
I have trouble enough with that I come 5 mile to hear him preach only hellfire and bloody damnation. There are many others who stay away from church these days because he hardly ever mentions God anymore.
Why, that's a drastic charge.
It's somewhat true. There are many that quail to bring their children.
I do not preach for children, Rebecca. It is not the children who are mindful of their obligations toward this ministry. Where is my wood? My contract provides I be supplied with all my firewood. I am waiting since November for a stick, and even in November I had to show my frostbitten hands like some London beggar.
You are allowed £6 a year to buy your wood, Mr. Parris.
I am paid little enough without I spend £6 on firewood. The salary is £66, Mr. Proctor. I am not some preaching farmer with a book under my arm. I am a graduate of Harvard College.
Aye, and well instructed in mathematics.
If you will look far for a man of my kind at £60, you will look far for a man of my kind for £60 a year. I am not used to this poverty. I left a thrifty business in the Barbados to serve the Lord. I do not fathom it, why I am persecuted here. I cannot offer one proposition, but there be a howling riot of argument. I have often wondered if the devil be in it somewhere. I cannot understand you people otherwise.
Mr. Parris, you are the first minister ever did demand the deed to this house.
I am your 3rd preacher in 7 years. I do not wish to be put out like the cat whenever some majority feels the whim. You people seem not to comprehend that a minister is the Lord's man in the parish. A minister is not to be so lightly crossed and contradicted.
Aye.
There is either obedience or the church will burn like hell is burning.
Can you speak 1 minute without we land in hell again? I am sick of hell.
It is not for you to say what is good for you to hear.
I may speak my heart, I think.
What? Are we Quakers? We are not Quakers here yet, Mr. Proctor, and you may tell that to your followers.
My followers?
There is a party in this church. I am not blind. There is a faction and a party.
Against you?
Against him and all authority.
Why, then I must fight it and join it.
He does not mean that.
I mean it solemnly, Rebecca. I like not the smell of this authority. I have a crop to sow and lumber to drag home. What say you, Giles? Let's find that party. He says there's a party.
I've changed my opinion of this man, Mr. Parris. I beg your pardon. I never thought you had so much iron in you.
Why, thank you, Giles.
It suggests to the mind what the trouble be among us all these years. Think on it. Wherefore is everybody suing everybody else? I have been 6 times in court this year.
Is it the devil's fault that a man cannot say you good morning without you clapping for defamation? You're old, Giles, and you're not hearing as well as you did.
John Proctor, I've only last month collected £4 damages for you publicly saying I burned the roof off your house. And I say to you...
I never said no such thing, but I paid you for it. So I hope I can call you deaf without charge. Come along, Giles, and help me drag my lumber home.
I'll be damned first.
A moment, Mr. Proctor. What lumber is that you're dragging home, if I may ask?
My lumber, from out my forest by the riverside.
Why, we are surely gone wild this year. What anarchy is this? That tract is in my bounds. It's in my bounds, Mr. Proctor.
In your bounds? I bought that tract from Goody Nurse's husband 5 months ago.
You had no right to sell it. It stands clear in my grandfather's will that all the land between the river and...
Your grandfather had a habit of willing land that never belonged to him, if I may say it plain.
That's God's truth. He nearly willed away my north pasture, but he knew I'd break his fingers before he set his name to it. Let's get your lumber home, John. I feel a sudden will to work coming on.
You load one oak of mine and you'll fight to drag it home.
Aye, and we'll win too, Putnam, this fool and I. Come on!
I'll have my men on you, Corey. I'll clap a writ on you.
Enter Reverend John Hale, 35, a ruddy, bright young man. He is loaded down with half a dozen heavy books.
May you someone take these?
Putnam crosses to Hale's, helps him up.
Mr. Hale, oh, it's good to see you again.
Helping him as they cross down to table.
My, they're heavy.
Putting books on table.
They must be. They are weighted with authority.
Well, you do come prepared.
We shall need hard study. If it comes to tracking down the old boy, you cannot be Rebecca Nurse.
I am, sir. Do you know me?
It is strange how I knew you, but I suppose you look as such a good soul should. We have all heard of your great charities in Beverly.
Do you know this gentleman? Mr. Thomas Putnam and his good wife Anne.
Putnam? I had not expected such distinguished company, sir.
Does not seem to help us today, Mr. Hale. We look to you to come to our house and save our child.
Your child ails too?
Her soul seems flown away. She sleeps and yet she walks.
She cannot eat.
Cannot eat. Do you men also have afflicted children?
No, these are farmers. John Proctor?
He don't believe in witches.
I never spoke on witches one way or the other. Will you come, Giles?
No, John, I think not. I have some few queer questions of my own to ask this fellow.
I've heard you be a sensible man, Mr. Hale. I hope you'll leave some of it in Salem.
Proctor goes out.
Will you look at my daughter, sir?
Hale crosses right to bed, followed by Paris. Corey follows up left of Paris, leads Hale to the bed.
She has tried to leap out the window. We discovered her this morning on the high road, waving her arms as though she'd fly.
Tries to fly?
She cannot bear to hear the Lord's name, Mr. Hale. That's a sure sign of witchcraft afloat.
No. Let me instruct you. We cannot look to superstition in this. The devil is precise. The marks of his presence are definite as stone, and we must look only for his proper signs and judge nothing beforehand. And I must tell you all that I shall not proceed unless you are prepared to believe me if I should find no trace of hell in this.
It is agreed, sir. It is agreed. We will abide by your judgment.
Good then. Now, sir, what were your first warning of this strangeness?
Why, sir, I discovered her and my niece Abigail and 10 or 12 of the other girls dancing in the forest last night.
You permit dancing?
Oh, no, it was secret.
Mr. Paris Slade has knowledge of conjuring, sir.
We cannot be sure of that, Goody Anne.
I know it, sir. I sent my child. She should learn from Tituba, who murdered her sisters.
Goody Anne, you sent a child to conjure up the dead?
But God blame me, not you. Not you, Rebecca. I'll not have you judging me anymore. Mr. Hale, is it a natural work to lose 7 children before they live a day?
Shh. Leafing through the book.
7 dead in childbirth?
Aye.
Hale looks in book.
What book is that?
What's there, sir?
With a tasty love of intellectual pursuit, looking at open book.
Here is all the invisible world, caught, defined, and calculated.
Now looking at them, they are all enthralled with this.
In these books, the devil stands stripped of all his brute disguises. Here are all your familiar spirits, your incubi and succubi, your witches that go by land, by air, and by sea, your wizards of the night and of the day. Have no fear now. We shall find him out if he has come among us, and I mean to crush him utterly if he has shown his face.
Corey crosses near bed, looking at Betty.
Will it hurt the child, sir?
I cannot tell. If she is truly in the devil's grip, we may have to rip and tear to get her free.
I think I'll go then. I'm too old for this.
Why, Rebecca, we may open up the boil of all our troubles today.
Let us hope for that.
Up toward door.
I go to God for you, sir.
Opens door.
I hope you do not mean we go to Satan here.
I wish I knew.
She goes out.
Come, Mr. Hale, let's go down. Sit you here.
Hale sits on stool.
Mr. Hale, I have always wanted to ask a learned man, what signifies the reading of strange books?
What books?
Oh, I cannot tell. She hides them.
Who does this?
Martha, my wife. I have waked at night many times and found her in a corner reading of a book. Now, what do you make of that?
Why, that's not necessarily...
It discomforts me. Last night, pray again.
Ah, the stoppage of prayer. That is strange.
Sits on bed beside Betty.
I'd like to speak further on this with you.
I'm not saying she's touched by the devil now, but I'd admire to know what books she reads and why she hides them. She'll not answer me, you see.
Aye, we'll discuss it. Now mark me. If the devil is in her, you will witness some frightful wonders in this room. So please to keep your wits about you. Mr. Putnam, stand close in case she flies.
Turns to Betty, helps her sit up.
Now, Betty dear, will you sit up?
Sits her up.
Can you hear me? I am John Hale, minister of Beverly. I have come to help you, dear. Do you remember my 2 little girls in Beverly?
How can it be the devil? Why would he choose my house to strike?
What victory would the devil have to win a soul already had? It is the best the devil wants, and who is better than the minister?
Oh, that's deep, Mr. Parris, deep.
Does someone inflict you, child? It need not be a woman, mind you, or a man. Perhaps some bird, invisible to others, comes to you. Perhaps a pig, or any beast at all. Is there some figure bids you fly?
Passes his hand over her face.
In nomine Domini Sabaoth, sui filiqui ire ad infernos.
Betty is laid back on pillow, looks to Abigail.
Abigail,
Looks back to Betty.
what sort of dancing were you doing with her in the forest?
Why, come and dancing is all.
I think I ought to say that I saw a kettle in the grass where they were dancing.
That were only soup.
Soup? What sort of soup were in this kettle, Abigail?
Why, it were beans and lentils and I think, and...
Mr. Paris, you did not notice, did you, any living thing in the kettle? A mouse, perhaps? A spider? A frog?
Paris looks at her, hysterically seeing Paris's look.
That frog jumped in. We never put it in.
A frog, Abby!
We never put it in.
Abigail, it may be your cousin is dying. Did you call the devil last night?
I never called him. Tituba called him.
Called the devil.
I should like to speak with Tituba.
Takes Anne to door and returns as she goes out.
Goody Ann, will you bring her up?
How did she call him?
I know not. She spoke of Barbados.
Did you feel any strangeness when she called him? A sudden cold wind, perhaps? A trembling below the ground?
I didn't see no devil. Betty, wake up. Betty! Betty!
You cannot evade me, Abigail. Did your cousin drink any of the brew in that kettle?
She never drank it.
Did you drink it?
No, sir.
Did Tituba ask you to drink it?
She tried, but I refused.
Why are you concealing? Have you sold yourself to Lucifer?
I never sold myself. I'm a good girl.
Anne enters with Tituba.
I did drink of the kettle. She made me do it. She made Betty do it.
Abby.
She makes me drink blood.
Blood?
My baby's blood.
No, chicken blood. I give she chicken blood.
Woman, have you enlisted these children for the devil?
No, sir. I don't truck with the devil.
Why can she not wake? Are you silencing this child?
I love me Betty.
You have sent your spirit out upon this child, have you not? Are you gathering souls for the devil?
She send her spirit on me in church. She make me laugh at prayer.
She have often laughed at prayer.
She comes to me every night to go and drink blood.
You beg me to conjure, Abby. She beg me to make charm.
I'll tell you something. She comes to me while I sleep. She's always making me dream corruptions.
Abby.
At right of Betty's head, hysterically horrified.
Sometimes I wake and I find myself standing in the open doorway and not a stitch on my body.
Covering herself with arms, turning upstage and away.
I always hear her laughing in my sleep. I hear her singing her Barbados songs and tempting me with...
Mr. Reverend, I have no power on this child, sir.
You most certainly do, and you will loose her from it now. When did you compact with the devil?
I don't compact with no devil.
You will confess yourself, or I will take you out and whip you to your death, Tituba.
This woman must be hanged. She must be taken and hanged.
No, don't hang Tituba. I tell him I don't desire to work for him, sir.
Who? The devil? Now, Tituba, I know that when we bind ourselves to hell, it is very hard to break with it entirely. Now, we are going to help you tear yourself free. You would be a good Christian woman, would you not, Tituba?
Aye, sir, a good Christian woman.
And you love these little children.
Oh, yes, sir. I don't desire to hurt little children.
And you love God, Tituba.
I love God with all my being.
Now, in God's holy name.
Bless him. Bless him.
and to his glory.
Eternal glory. Bless him. Bless God.
Open yourself. Tituba, open yourself and let God's holy light shine upon you.
Oh, bless the Lord.
When the devil comes to you, does he ever come with another person? Perhaps another person in the village. Someone you know.
Who came with him?
Sarah Good? Did you ever see Sarah Good with him? Or Osborne?
Was it man or woman came with him?
Was woman.
What woman? A woman, you said. What woman?
It was black dark, and I...
Could see him. Why could you not see her?
Well, they was always talking. They was always running round and carrying on.
You mean out of Salem? Salem witches?
Hale indicates to Paris to take it easy.
I believe so, yes, sir.
Calmly, now he takes her hand.
Tituba, you must have no fear to tell us who they are. Do you understand? We will protect you. The devil can never overcome a minister. You know that, do you not?
Aye, sir. Oh, I do.
You have confessed yourself to witchcraft, and that speaks a wish to come to heaven's side. And we will bless you, Tituba.
Oh, God bless you, Mr. Hale.
You are God's instrument, put in our hands to discover the devil's agents among us. You are selected, Tituba. You are chosen to help us cleanse our village. You are selected, so speak utterly, Tituba. Turn your back on him and face God. Face God, Tituba, and God will protect you.
Oh, God protect Tituba.
Who came to you with the devil? 2, 3, 4? How many?
Pants and begins rocking back and forth, staring ahead.
There was 4. There was 4.
Who? Who? Their names, their names.
Oh, how many times he bid me kill you, Mr. Paris.
Me?
He say, Mr. Paris must be killed. Mr. Paris, no goodly man. Mr. Paris, mean man and no gentleman. He bid me rise out of my bed and cut your throat.
Paris backs down a step and then straightens up and they gasp.
I tell him no. I tell him, I don't hate that man. I don't want to kill that man. But he say, you work for me, Tituba, and I make you free. I give you pretty dress to wear and put you way high up in the air and you gon' fly back to Barbados. And I say, you lie, devil, you lie. And when he come back one stormy night to me and he say, look, I have white people belong to me. And I look, and there was Goody Good.
Sarah Good.
Rocking violently.
Aye, sir, and Goody Osborne.
I knew it. Goody Osborne were midwife to me 3 times. I begged you, Thomas, did I not? I begged him not to call Osborne because I feared her. My baby's always shriveled in her hands.
During this, Tituba is crying praises to the Lord.
Take courage. You must give us all their names. How can you bear to see these children suffering? Look at them, Tituba.
He is indicating Betty on the bed.
Look at their God-given innocence. Their souls are so tender. We must protect them, Tituba. The devil is out and preying on them like a beast upon the flesh of the pure lamb. God will bless you for your help.
Hands clasped, eyes closed.
I want to help myself. I want the light of God. I want the sweet love of Jesus. I dance for the devil. I saw him. I wrote in his book. I go back to Jesus. I kiss his hand. I saw Sarah Good.
Betty's hands appear above the headboard, raised towards heaven.
With the devil I saw Bridget Bishop with the devil.
As she is speaking, Betty picks it up as a chant. As all turn to her.
I saw George Jacobs with the devil. I saw Goody Howe with the devil.
She speaks! She speaks!
Glory to God! It is broken! They're free!
Calling it out hysterically and with great relief.
I saw Marshal Bellows with the devil.
It is rising to a great glee.
I saw Goody Sibber with the devil.
The marshal. I shall call the marshal.
Let the marshal bring irons.
I saw Alice Borrow with the devil. I saw Goody Pike with the devil.
I saw Goody Hawkins with the devil. I saw Mr. Burton with the devil.
I saw Goody Cobb with the devil.
I saw Goody Franklin with the devil.
I saw Goody Hobber with the devil.
On their ecstatic cries, curtain falls. Scene 2. Proctor's house, 8 days later. On the back of washdown, down right, is a nail which hangs Elizabeth's shawl. On upstage, end of bench, at right centre, is a nail to support gun, which Proctor leans against the bench. In the same bench is a hole in which is a whip. There are 2 entrances, one to outside of house, downstage left, the other leading to the rest of the house. On the rise, the common room is empty. From above, Elizabeth is heard softly singing to the children. John Proctor enters down rights, carrying his gun, 3 seconds after curtain. He glances about the room, crosses to the wall, up centre, leans gun against bench right, crosses down right to washstand, pours water into it from the pitcher. As he is washing, Elizabeth's footsteps are heard. Elizabeth enters.
What keeps you so late? It's almost dark.
Oh, planting far out to the forest edge.
Oh, you're done then?
Aye, the farm is seeded. The boys asleep?
Dips hands in water, wipes them. Removes water and towel, goes out and returns with dish of stew.
They will be soon.
Serves stew in a dish.
Pray now for a fair summer.
Goes out, returns with another dish.
Aye.
Are you well today?
I am. It is a rabbit.
Oh, is it? In Jonathan's trap?
No. She walked in the house this afternoon. I found her sitting in the corner like she come to visit.
Oh, that's a good sign, walking in.
Pray God. It hurt my heart to strip her, poor rabbit.
Oh, it is well seasoned.
I took great care. She's tender.
Aye. I think we'll see green fields soon. It's warm as blood beneath the clods.
Oh, that's well.
If the crop is good, I'll buy George Jacobs' heifer. How would that please you?
Aye, it would.
I mean to please you, Elizabeth.
It is hard to say.
I know it, John.
As gently as he can.
Cider?
A sense of her reprimanding herself for having forgot.
Aye.
Gets jug from off, pours drink into the pewter mug, brings it to him.
This farm's a continent when you go foot by foot, dropping seeds in it.
Must be.
On Sunday, let you come with me and we'll walk the farm together. I never see such a load of flowers on the earth. Massachusetts is a beauty in the spring.
Aye, it is.
I think you're sad again. Are you?
You come so late, I thought you'd gone to Salem this afternoon.
Why? I have no business in Salem.
You did speak of going earlier in this week.
I thought better of it since.
Mary Warren's there today.
Why'd you let her? You heard me forbid her go to Salem any more.
I couldn't stop her.
It is a fault. It is a fault, Elizabeth. You're the mistress here, not Mary Warren.
She frightened all my strength away.
How may that mouse frighten you, Elizabeth? You...
It is a mouse no more. I forbid her to go, and she raises up her chin like the daughter of a prince and says to me, I must go to Salem, Goody Proctor. I am an official of the court.
Court? What court?
Aye, it's a proper court they have now. They sent 4 judges out of Boston, she says, weighty magistrates of the general court, and at the head sits the deputy governor of the province.
Why, she's mad.
I would to God she were. There be 14 people in the jail now, she says. And they'll be tried, and the court have power to hang them too, she says.
Ah, they'd never hang them.
The deputy governor promised hanging if they'll not confess, John. The town's gone wild, I think. Mary Warren speaks of Abigail as though she were a saint to hear her. She brings the other girls to the court where she walks the crowd will part like sea for Israel. And folks are brought before them, and if Abigail scream and howl and fall to the floor, the person's clapped in the jail for bewitching her.
He can't look at her.
Oh, it is a black mischief.
I think you must go to Salem, John. I think so. You must tell them it's a fraud.
Aye, it is. It is, surely.
Let you go to Ezekiel Cheever, he knows you well, and tell him what she said to you last week in her uncle's house. She said it had naught to do with witchcraft, did she not?
In thought, sighing.
Aye, she did. She did.
Quietly, fearing to anger him by prodding.
God forbid you keep that from the court, John. I think they must be told.
Aye, they must. They must. It is a wonder they do believe her.
I would go to Salem now, John. Let you go tonight.
Aye, I'll think on it.
With her courage now.
You cannot keep it, John.
I know I cannot keep it. I said I will think on it.
Good then. Let you think on it.
I'm only wondering how I may prove what she told me, Elizabeth. If the girl's a saint now, I think it is not easy to prove she's fraud and the town gone so silly. She told it to me in a room alone. I have no proof for it.
You were alone with her.
For a moment alone, aye.
Why then it's not as you told me.
For a moment, I say. The others come in soon after.
Do as you wish then.
Woman, I'll not have your suspicion any more.
A little loftily.
I have note.
I'll not have it.
Then let you not own it.
With a violent undertone.
You doubt me yet.
John, if it were not Abigail that you must go to her, would you falter now? I think not.
Now look you.
I see what I see, John.
You will not judge me more, Elizabeth. I have good reason to think before I charge fraud on Abigail, and I will think on it. Let you look to your own improvement before you go to judge your husband any more. I have forgot Abigail, and
I.
Spare me. You forget nothing and forgive nothing. Learn charity, woman. I have gone tiptoe in this house all 7 months since she is gone. I have not moved from there to there without, I think, to please you, and still an everlasting funeral marches round your heart. I cannot speak, but I am doubted. Every moment judged for lies, as though I come into a court when I come into this house.
John, you are not open with me. You saw her with a crowd, you said. Now you...
I'll plead my honesty no more, Elizabeth.
Now she would justify herself.
John, I am only...
No more! I should have roared you down when first you told me your suspicion. But I wilted, and like a Christian, I confessed. Some dream I had must have mistaken you for God that day, but you're not. You're not. Let you remember that. Let you look sometimes for the goodness in me and judge me not.
I do not judge you. The magistrate sits in your heart that judges you. I never thought you but a good man, John, only somewhat bewildered.
Oh, Elizabeth, your justice would freeze beer.
He turns suddenly toward a sound outside. Mary Warren enters.
How do you go to Salem when I forbid it? Do you mock me? I'll whip you if you dare leave this house again.
I am sick, Mr. Proctor. Pray hurt me not. My insides are all shuddery. I am in the proceedings all day, sir.
Angrily in a loud voice as Mary is crossing.
And what of these proceedings here? When will you proceed to keep this house as you are paid £9 a year to do, and my wife not wholly well?
Crossing to Elizabeth, taking small rag doll from pocket in her undershirt.
I made a gift for you today, Goody Proctor. I had to sit long hours in a chair and pass the time with sewing.
Perplexed, she looks at the doll.
Why, thank you. It's a fair puppet.
Fervently, with a trembling, decayed voice.
We must all love each other now, Goody Proctor.
Amazed at her strangeness.
Aye, indeed we must.
I'll get up early in the morning and clean the house. I must sleep now.
Mary, is it true there be 14 women arrested?
No, sir. There be 39 now.
She suddenly breaks off and sobs, rising and crossing to Mary.
Why, she's weeping. What ails you, child?
Goody Osborne will hang.
Elizabeth hugs her.
Hang. Hang, you say?
Aye.
The Deputy Governor will permit it?
He sentenced her. He must...
Taking her lead from Elizabeth's shoulder to ameliorate it.
But not Sarah Good. For Sarah Good confessed, you see.
Confessed? To what?
That she sometimes made a compact with Lucifer and wrote her name in the Black Book with her blood and bound herself to torment Christians till God's thrown down and we all must worship hell forevermore.
Elizabeth puts doll on table.
But surely you know what a jabberer she is. Did you tell them that?
Mr. Proctor, in open court she neared to choked us all to death.
How choked you?
She sent her spirit out.
Oh, Mary. Mary, surely you...
She tried to kill me many times, Goody Proctor.
Why, I never heard you mention that before.
I never knew it before. I never knew anything before. But she'd come into the court, I say to myself, I must not accuse this woman, for she sleep in ditches and so very old and poor. But then she sit there, denying and denying, and I feel a misty coldness climbing up my back, and the skin on my skull begin to creep, and I feel a clamp around my neck, and I cannot breathe air, and then...
Entranced as though it were a miracle.
I hear a voice, a screaming voice, and it were my voice, and all at once I remembered everything she'd done to me.
Slight pause as Proctor watches Elizabeth pass him, then speaks, being aware of Elizabeth's alarm. Looking at Elizabeth...
Why? What did she do to you?
Like one awakened to a marvellous secret in sight.
So many times, Mr. Proctor, she come to this very door, begging bread and a cup of cider, and mark this. Whenever I turn her away empty, she mumbled.
Mumbled? She may mumble. Hungry.
But what does she mumble? You must remember, Goody Proctor, last month, a Monday, I think. She walked away, and I thought my guts would burst for 2 days after. Do you remember it?
Why, I do, I think, but...
And so I told that to Judge Hathorne, and he asks her, so, Goody Good, says he, what curse do you mumble that this girl must fall sick after turning you away? And then she replies, Why, your excellence, no curse at all, I only say my commendments. I hope I may say my commendments, she says she.
That's an upright answer.
Aye, but then Judge Hawthorne say, recite for us your commandments, and of all the 10 she could say not a single one. She never knew commandments, and they had her in a flat lie.
And so condemned her?
Impatiently at his stupidity.
Why, they must when she condemned herself.
But the proof! The proof!
With greater impatience with him.
I told you the proof. It's hard proof, hard as rock, the judges said.
You will not go to that court again, Mary Warren.
I must tell you, sir. I'll be gone every day now. I'm amazed you do not see what whitey work we do.
What work you do? It's strange work for a Christian girl to hang old women.
But, Mr. Proctor, they will not hang them if they confess. Sarah Good will only sit in jail sometime. And here's a wonder for you. Think on this. Goody Good is pregnant.
Pregnant? Are they mad? The woman's near to 60.
Happy with wonders of the court.
They had Dr. Griggs examine her, and she's full to the brim, and smoking a pipe in all these years, and no husband either. But she's safe, thank God, for they're not hurt the innocent child. But be that not a marvel, you must see it, sir. It's God's work we do. So I'll be gone every day for some time. I'm an official of the court, they say, and
Unofficial you!
Rises, gets whip. Striving for her authority.
I'll not stand a whipping any more. The devil's loose in Salem, Mr. Proctor. We must discover where he's hiding.
I'll whip the devil out of you.
With whip raised she yells, and pointing at Elizabeth.
I saved her life today.
Silence, his whip comes down.
I'm accused.
You are somewhat mentioned, but I said I never seen no sign you ever sent your spirit out to hurt no one, and seeing I do live so closely with you, they dismissed it.
Who accused me?
I am bound by law. I cannot tell it. I hope you'll not be so sarcastical no more. Four judges and the King's deputy sat to dinner with us but an hour ago. I would have you speak civilly to me from this out.
In disgust at her.
Go to bed.
I will not be ordered to bed no more, Mr. Proctor. I am 18 and a woman, however single.
Do you wish to sit up? Then sit up.
Stamping foot.
I wish to go to bed.
Good night, then.
She starts out.
Good night.
She goes out and he throws whip down.
Oh, the noose is up.
There'll be no noose.
He wants me dead. I knew all week it would come to this.
Without conviction.
They dismissed it. You heard us say.
Oh, what of tomorrow? She will cry me out until they take me.
Sit you down.
She wants me dead, John. You know it.
I say sit down. Now we must be wise, Elizabeth.
With sarcasm and a sense of being lost.
Oh, indeed, indeed.
Not looking at her.
Fear nothing. I'll find Ezekiel Cheever. I'll tell him she said it were all sport.
John, with so many in jail, more than that is needed now, I think. Would you favour me with this? Go to Abigail.
What have I to say to Abigail?
John, grant me this. You have a faulty understanding of young girls. There is a promise made in any bed.
Striving against his anger, looking at her.
What promise?
Spoke or silent, a promise is surely made. And she may dote on it now, I am sure she does, and thinks to kill me and then take my place. Is her dearest hope, John, I know it. There be 1,000 names, why does she call mine? There be a certain danger in calling such a name. I am no goody-good that sleeps in ditches, nor Osborne drunk and half-witted. She dare not call out such a farmer's wife, but there be monstrous profit in it. She thinks to take my place, John.
He knows it is true.
She cannot think it.
John, have you ever shown us somewhat of contempt? She cannot pass you in the church, but you will blush.
I may blush for my sin.
I think she sees another meaning in that blush.
And what see you? What see you, Elizabeth?
I think you be somewhat ashamed, for I am there and she is so close.
When will you know me, woman? Were I stone, I would have cracked for shame this 7 month.
Then go, and tell her she's a whore. Whatever promise she makes sense, break it, John, break it.
Rising, getting gun.
Good then, I'll go.
Oh, how unwillingly.
I will curse her hotter than the oldest cinder in hell, fear not. But pray begrudging me not my anger.
Your anger? I only ask you.
Woman, am I so base? Do you truly think me base?
I never called you base.
Then how do you charge me with such a promise? The promise that a stallion gives a mare I gave that girl.
Then why do you anger with me when I bid you break it?
So angry he gropes for words and phrases.
Because it speaks deceased, and I am honest. But I'll plead no more. I see now your spirit twists around a single error of my life, and I will never tear it free.
You tear it free when you come to know that I will be your only wife or no wife at all. He has an arrow in you yet, John Proctor, and you know it well.
Proctor starts right. Quite suddenly, as though from the air, Hale appears. They start suddenly. Hale is different now, drawn, a little even of guilt about his manner now.
Good evening.
Why, Mr. Hale. Good evening to you, sir. Come in, come in.
I hope I do not startle you.
No, it's only that I heard no horse.
You are Goodwife Proctor.
Aye, Elizabeth.
I hope you're not off to bed yet.
No. Let you come in, Mr. Hale. We are not used to visitors after dark, but you're welcome here. Will you sit down, sir?
I will. Let you sit, Goodwife Proctor.
Will you drink cider, Mr. Hale?
No, it rebels my stomach. I have some further traveling yet tonight. Sit you down, sir. I will not keep you long. but I have some business with you.
Business of the court?
No, I come of my own, without the court's authority. Hear me. I know not if you are aware, but your wife's name is mentioned in the court.
We know it, sir. Our Mary Warren told us. We are entirely amazed.
I am a stranger here, as you know. And in my ignorance, I find it hard to draw a clear opinion of them that come accused before the court. And so this afternoon, and now tonight, I go from house to house. I come now from Rebecca Nurse's house, and
Rebecca's charged.
God forbid such a one be charged. She is, however, mentioned somewhat.
You will never believe, I hope, that Rebecca trafficked with the devil.
Woman, it is possible.
Surely you cannot think so.
This is a strange time, mister. No man may longer doubt the powers of the dark are gathered in monstrous attack upon this village. There is too much evidence now to deny it. You will agree, sir?
I have no knowledge in that line, but it's hard to think so pious a woman be secretly a devil's bitch after 70 years of such good prayer.
Aye, but the devil is a wily one. You cannot deny it. However, she is far from accused, and I know she will not be. I thought, sir, to put some questions as to the Christian character of this house, if you'll permit me.
Why, we have no fear of questions, sir.
Good, then. In the book of record that Mr. Paris keeps, I note that you are rarely in the church on Sabbath day.
No, sir, you are mistaken.
Only 26 times in 17 months, sir. I must call that rare. Will you tell me why you are so absent?
Mr. Hale, I never knew I must account to that man for I come to church or stay at home. My wife was sick this winter.
So I am told. But you, mister, why could you not come alone?
I surely did come when I could, and when I could not, I prayed in this house.
Mr. Proctor, your house is not a church. Your theology must tell you that.
It does, sir, it does. And it tells me that a minister may pray to God without he have golden candlesticks upon the altar.
What golden candlesticks?
A pause, his hand gripping edge of the table as he controls his anger.
Since we built the church, there were pewter candlesticks upon the altar. Francis Nurse made them, you know, and a sweeter hand never touched. But Paris came, and for 20 weeks he preached nothing but golden candlesticks until he had them. I labour the earth from dawn of day to blink of night, and I tell you true, when I look to heaven and see my money glaring at his elbows, it hurt my prayer, sir, it hurt my prayer. I think sometimes the man dreams cathedrals, not clapboard meetings.
And yet, mister, a Christian on Sabbath day must be in church. Tell me, you have 3 children.
Aye, boys.
How come it that only 2 are baptized?
Pauses as he controls himself and looks at Elizabeth, uncomfortable at the thought.
I like it not that Mr. Parrish should lay his hand upon my baby. I see no light of God in that man. I'll not conceal it.
I must say it, Mr. Proctor. That is not for you to decide. The man's ordained, therefore the light of God is in him.
What's your suspicion, Mr. Hale?
No. I have no...
I nailed the roof upon the church. I hung the door.
Oh, did you? That's a good sign, then.
It may be that I have been too quick to bring the man to book, but you cannot think we ever desired the destruction of religion. I think that's in your mind, is it not?
There is a softness in your record, sir. A softness.
I think maybe we have been too hard with Mr. Paris. I think so. Sure, we have never loved the devil here.
Do you know your commandments, Elizabeth?
Without hesitation, simply, primly.
I surely do. There be no mark of blame upon my life, Mr. Hale. I am covenanted a Christian woman.
And you, mister?
I'm sure I do, sir.
Let you repeat them, if you will.
The commandments.
Aye.
Thou shalt not kill.
Aye.
Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbour's goods, nor make unto thee any graven image. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord in vain. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. Thou shalt honour thy father and mother. Thou shalt not bear false witness. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image.
You have said that twice, sir.
Aye.
Adultery, John.
As though a secret arrow had pained his heart.
Aye.
Trying to grin it away to Hale.
You see, sir, between the two of us, we do know them all.
Hale only looks at Proctor, deep in his attempt to define this man. Proctor grows more uneasy.
I think it be a small fault.
Thoughtfully and regretfully.
Theology, sir, is a fortress. No crack in a fortress may be accounted small.
There be no love for Satan in this house.
I pray it. I pray it dearly.
Rising.
Well then, I'll bid you good night.
Unable to restrain her anxiety.
Mr. Hale, I do think you're suspecting me somewhat, are you not?
Goody Proctor, I do not judge you. My duty is to add what I may to the godly wisdom of the court. I pray you both good health and good fortune. Good night, sir.
Starts out. With a note of desperation.
I think you must tell him, John.
What's that?
Will you tell him?
I have no witness and cannot prove it, except my word be taken. But I know the children's sickness had naught to do with witchcraft.
Stopped, struck.
Not to do...
They were discovered by Mr. Paris sporting in the woods. They were startled and took sick.
Who told you this?
Abigail Williams.
Abigail?
Aye.
Abigail Williams said it had naught to do with witchcraft.
She told me the day you came, sir.
Why did you keep this?
I never knew until tonight that the world is gone daft with this nonsense.
Nonsense? Mister, I have myself examined Tituba, Sarah Good, and numerous others that have confessed to dealing with the devil. They have confessed it.
With dry, bitter humour.
And why not, if they must hang for denying it? There are them that will swear to anything before they'll hang. Have you never thought of that?
It is his own suspicion, but he resists it.
I have. I have indeed. And you, would you testify to this in court?
I had not reckoned with going into court, but if I must, I will.
Ah, you falter there. I think you...
Controlling
I falter nothing. But I may wonder if my story will be credited in such a court. I do wonder on it when a minister as steady-minded as you will suspicion such a woman that never lied. She cannot lie, and the world knows she cannot. I may falter somewhat, mister. I am no fool.
Quietly, it has impressed him.
Proctor, let you open with me now. for I have heard a thing that troubles me. It is said you hold no belief there may even be witches in the world. Is that true, sir?
I know not what I have said. I may have said it. I have wondered if there be witches in the world.
Then you do not believe?
I have no knowledge of it. The Bible speaks of witches, and I will not deny them.
And you, woman?
I cannot believe it.
You cannot?
Elizabeth, you bewilder him.
I cannot think the devil may own a woman's soul, Mr. Hale. When she keeps an upright way, as I have, I am a good woman, I know it. And if you believe I may do only good work in the world and yet be secretly bound to Satan, then I must tell you, sir, I do not believe it.
But woman, you do believe there are witches in...
If you think that I am the only one, then say there are none.
You surely do not fly against the gospel. The gospel!
Do you believe in the gospel, every word?
Question Abigail Williams about the gospel, not myself.
She did not mean to doubt the gospel, sir. You cannot think it. This be a Christian house, sir, a Christian house.
God keep you both. Let the third child be quickly baptized, and go you without fail each Sunday into Sabbath prayer, and keep a solemn, quiet way about you. I think...
Enter Corey.
John!
Giles, what's the matter?
They take my wife and Rebecca Nurse.
Nurse enters.
Rebecca's in the jail.
Nurse?
Ooh, do we have a Mr. Nurse?
Oh.
I don't know if we do.
That's a very good question.
Missing a character.
Wasn't in the
Anybody else can step in?
I don't seem to be doing much. Do you want me to?
Yes.
Yeah, thanks.
Rebecca's in the jail.
John, Cheever, come and take her in his wagon. We've only now come from the jail and they'll not even let us in to see them.
They've surely gone wild now, Mr. Hale.
Reverend Hale, can you not speak to the Deputy Governor? I'm sure he mistakes these people.
Pray calm yourself, Mr. Nurse.
My wife is the very brick and mortar of the church, Mr. Hale. And Martha Corey, there cannot be a woman closer yet to God than Martha.
How is Rebecca charged, Mr. Nurse?
For murder, she's charged. For the marvellous and supernatural murder of Goody Putnam's babies. What am I to do, Mr. Hale?
Believe me, sir, if Rebecca Nurse be tainted, then nothing's left to stop the whole green world from burning. Let you rest upon the justice of the court. The court will send her home, I know it.
You cannot mean she will be tried in court.
How may such a woman murder children?
Man, remember, until an hour before the devil fell, God thought him beautiful in heaven.
I never said my wife were a witch, Mr. Hale. I only said she were reading books.
Mr. Corey, exactly what complaint were made on your wife?
That bloody mongrel Walcott charger. You see, he bought a pig of my wife 4 or 5 years ago, and the pig died soon after. So he came dancing in for his money back. So my Martha, she says to him, Walcott, if you haven't got the wit to feed a pig proper, you'll not live to own many, she says. Now he goes to court and claims that from that day to this he cannot keep a pig alive for more than 4 weeks because my Martha bewitch him with her books.
Enter Cheever.
Good evening. Good evening to you, John Proctor.
Willard just inside the door.
Why, Mr. Cheever. Good evening.
Good evening, all. Good evening, Mr. Hale.
I hope you come not on business of the court.
I do, Proctor. Aye. I'm the clerk of the court now, you know.
It's a pity, Ezekiel, that an honest tailor might have gone to heaven must burn in hell. You'll burn for this. Do you know it?
You know yourself I must do as I'm told. You surely know that, Giles. I'd leave you not to see me in hell. I like not the sound of it. I tell you, I like not the sound of it. Now, believe me, Proctor, how heavy be the law, all its tonnage I do carry on my back tonight.
Takes a warrant from his pocket.
I have a warrant for your wife.
What say you? A warrant for my wife?
To Hale.
You said she were not charged.
I know nothing of it. When was she charged?
I'm given 16 warrant tonight, sir, and she is one.
Who charged her?
Why, Abigail Williams charged her.
Abigail Williams. On what proof? What proof?
Mr. Proctor, I have little time. The court bid me search your house, but I like not to search a house. So you will hand me any poppets that your wife may keep here.
Poppets?
I never kept no poppets, not since I were a girl.
I spy a poppet, Goody Proctor.
Gets doll.
Oh, this is Mary's.
Would you please give that to me?
Handing doll to Cheever.
Has the court discovered a text in poppets now?
Carefully holds doll.
Has the court discovered a text in poppets now? Do you keep any others in this house?
No, nor this one till tonight. What signifies a poppet?
Why, a poppet. A poppet may signify. Now, woman, will you please come with me?
She will not. Fetch Mary here.
No, no. I am forbid to leave her house from her sight.
You'll leave her out of sight and out of mind, mister. Fetch Mary, Elizabeth.
Elizabeth goes out.
What signifies a poppet, Mr. Cheever?
Tom's doll over in his hands.
Why, they say it may signify that she...
He has lifted doll's skirt and his eyes widen in astonished fear.
Why, what is this?
What's there?
Why?
Draws out a long needle from the doll.
It is a needle, Willard. Willard, this is a needle!
And what signifies a needle?
Why, this goes hard with her, Proctor. This! I had my doubts, Proctor. I had my doubts. But here is calamity.
Crosses to Hale, shows needle.
See, sir, this is a needle.
Why? What meaning has it?
The girl, the Williams girl, Abigail Williams, sir. She starts to dinner in Reverend Palace House tonight, and without word nor warning, she falls to the floor like a struck beast, he says, and screamed that a bull would weep to her. And here she goes to save her, and stuck 2 inches of that flesh into her belly, and she draw out a needle. And demanding of how she come to be stabbed, she testify it. Where your wife's familiar spirit pushed it in.
Why, she done it herself. I hope you're not taking this for proof, Mr. Hale.
'Tis hard proof. I find here a poppet Goody Proctor keeps. I have found it, sir, and in the belly of the poppet is a needle struck. I tell you true, Proctor, I never warranted to see such proof of hell, and I bid you have struck me not. For I...
Enter Elizabeth with Mary.
Here now. Mary, how did this poppet come into my house?
What poppet's that, sir?
This poppet, this poppet.
Looks at it and evasively says,
Why, I think it is mine.
It is your poppet, is it not?
It is, sir.
And how did it come into this house?
Why, made it in the court, sir, and give it to Goody Proctor tonight.
Now, sir, do you have it?
Mary Warren, a needle have been found inside this poppet.
Why, I meant no harm by it, sir.
You stuck that needle in yourself.
I believe I did, sir.
What say you now?
Still kindly endeavouring to get at the truth.
Child, you are certain this be your natural memory? May it be perhaps that someone conjures you even now to say this?
Conjures me? Why, no, sir. I'm entirely myself, I think. Let you ask Susanna Walcott. She saw me sewing it in court. Ask Abby. Abby sat beside me when I made it.
To Hale of Cheever.
Bid him be gone, mister. Your mind is surely settled now. Bid him out, mister.
What signifies a needle?
Mary, you charge a cold and cruel murder on Abigail.
Murder? I charge no...
Abigail were stabbed tonight. A needle were found stuck into her belly.
And she charges me?
Aye.
Oh, why? The girl is murdered. She must be ripped out of this world.
You hear that, sir? Ripped out of this world. Willop, you hear it.
Suddenly snatches warrant out of Cheever's hand.
Out with you.
Proctor, don't you dare touch that warrant.
Out with you. Out with you.
Give me a second, guys. Proctor, you ripped the deputy governor's warrants, man.
Damn the deputy governor. Out of my house.
Proctor.
Get you gone with them. You are a broken minister.
Proctor, if she is innocent, the court...
If she is innocent, why do you never wonder if Paris be innocent, or Abigail? Is the accuser always holy now? Were they born this morning as clean as God's fingers? I'll tell you what's walking Salem. Vengeance is walking Salem. We are what we always were in Salem, but now the little crazy children are jangling the keys of the kingdom, and common vengeance writes the law. This warrants vengeance. I will not give my wife to vengeance.
I'll go, John.
You will not go.
Sweeps his gun up, pointing it at Cheever.
John, I have 9 men outside. You cannot keep her. The law binds me, John. I cannot budge.
Hale, you'll see her taken.
Proctor, the court is just.
Pontius Pilate, God will not let you wash your hands of this.
John.
She presses the rifle down.
I think I must go with them.
Taking off apron, handing it to Mary.
Mary, there is bread enough for the morning. You will bake in the afternoon. Help Mr. Proctor as you were his daughter. You owe me that and much more.
Takes Proctor's hands, and to Proctor.
When the children wake, speak nothing of witchcraft. It will frighten them.
Taking her hands.
I will bring you home. I will bring you soon.
Oh, John, bring me soon.
I will fall like an ocean on that court. Fear nothing, Elizabeth.
I will fear nothing.
Takes shawl from washstand and he puts it on her. They cross. Cheever and Willard exit right.
Tell the children I've gone to visit someone sick.
She breaks off, goes out. Hale sits on the bench, right of table, head bowed, his hand on table. After 4 seconds, chains are heard off. Proctor running off.
Willard, don't chain her. Damn you, man, you want her.
Outside.
Off with them. I'll not have it. I will not have her chained.
Another man's voice is against his. Corey calls to Hale.
And yet silent, Minister. It is fraud. You know it is fraud. What keeps you, man?
Proctor is thrown into room by 2 guards, followed by Willard. Guards exit right after Proctor pulls away.
I'll pay you, Willard. I will surely pay you.
Sits on bench with his head in his hands.
Third.
Willard.
Willard, you're on.
Sam.
Sam. Pick up the musket, Sam.
Shall someone else just say his line?
Okay.
In God's name, John, I cannot help myself. I must chain them all. Now let you keep this house till I am gone. Man, are you blind? He exits.
Mr. Proctor.
Out of my sight.
Charity, Proctor. Charity. What I have heard in her favor, I will not fear to testify in court. God help me. I cannot judge her guilty nor innocent. I know not. Only this consider. The world goes mad, and it profit nothing you should lay the cause of the vengeance of a little girl.
You are a coward. Though you be ordained in God's own tears, you are a coward now.
Shaken, greatly disturbed, trying to convince himself.
Proctor, I cannot think God be provoked so grandly by such a petty cause. The jails are packed. Our greatest judges sit in Salem now, and hangings promised. Man, we must look to cause proportionate. Were there murder done perhaps, and never brought to light? Abomination, some secret blasphemy that stinks to heaven. Think on cause, man, and let you help me to discover it. For there's your way, believe it. There is your only way when such confusion strikes upon the world.
Crossing to nurse, pleading with them.
Let you counsel among yourselves. Think on your village, and what may have drawn from heaven such thundering wrath upon you all. I shall pray God open our eyes.
Pale goes out.
I never heard no murders done in Salem.
Leave me, Francis. Leave me.
John, tell me, are we lost?
Go home now, Giles. We'll speak on it tomorrow.
Now you think on it. We'll come early, eh?
Aye. Go now, Giles.
Good night, then.
Corey goes out. Long pause.
Mr. Proctor, very likely they'll let her come home once they're given proper evidence.
You're coming to the court with me, Mary. You will tell it in the court.
I cannot charge murder on Abigail.
You will tell the court how that puppet came here and who stuck the needle in.
She'll kill me for saying that. Abby will charge lechery on you, Mr. Proctor.
She's told you.
I've known it, sir. She'll ruin you with it. I know she will.
Advancing on her.
Good. Then her saintliness is done with. We will slide together into our pit. You will tell the court what you know.
I cannot. They'll turn on me.
Grabs her.
My wife will never die for me. I will bring your guts into your mouth, but that goodness will not die for me.
I cannot do it. I cannot.
Make your peace with it. Now hell and heaven grapple on our backs, and all our old pretense is ripped away. Make your peace.
Throws her down.
I cannot.
Crossing to door.
Peace. It is a providence, and no great change. We are what we always were, but naked now. Aye, naked. And the wind, God's icy wind, will blow.
Mary continues, sobbing, I cannot. Curtain.
Let's start.
Act 2, Scene 1. A wood, night. Light is concentrated on the log downstage. Proctor enters with lantern, glancing behind him, then halts, holding lantern raised. Abigail appears with a wrap over her nightgown, her hair down. A moment of questioning silence.
I must speak with you, Abigail.
She does not move, staring at him.
Will you sit?
How would you come?
Friendly.
Glancing about.
I don't like the woods at night. Pray you, stand closer.
He comes closer to her.
I knew it must be you. When I heard the pebbles on my window, before I opened up, my eyes knew.
She sits on the log.
I thought you would come a good time sooner.
I'd thought to come to you many times.
Why didn't you? I'm so alone in the world now.
As a fact, not bitterly.
I've heard that people ride 100 miles to see your face these days.
Aye, my face. Can you see my face?
Hold lantern to her face.
Then you're troubled.
Have you come to mock me?
Sets lantern on the ground and sits next to her.
No. But I hear that you go to the tavern every night and play shovelboard with the deputy governor, and they give you the cider.
I have once or twice played the shovelboard. I have no joy in it.
This is a surprise, Abby. I thought to find you gayer than this. I'm told a troop of boys go step for step with you wherever you walk these days.
Aye, they do. I have only lewd looks from the boys.
And you like that not?
I cannot bear lewd looks no more, John. My spirit's changed entirely. I ought be given godly looks when I suffer for them as I do.
Oh? How do you suffer, Abby?
Pulls up dress.
Why, look at my leg. I'm moles all over. From their damned needles and pins.
Touching her stomach.
The jab your wife gave me is not healed yet, you know.
Seeing her madness now.
Oh, it isn't.
I think sometimes she pricks it open again while I sleep.
Ah.
And George Jacobs.
Sliding up her sleeve.
He comes again and again and raps me with his stick. The same spot every night, all this week. Look at the lump I have.
Abby, George Jacobs is in the jail all this month.
Thank God he is. And blessed the day he hangs and lets me sleep in peace once again. Oh, John, the world's so full of hypocrites. They pray in jail. I'm told they all pray in jail.
They may not pray.
And torture me in my bed while sacred words are coming from their mouths. Oh, it will need God himself to cleanse this town properly.
Abby, you mean to cry out still others?
If I live, I'm not murdered, I surely will, until the last hypocrite is dead.
Then there is no one good.
Aye, there is one. You are good.
Am I? How am I good?
Why, you taught me goodness. Therefore you are good. It were fire you walked me through, and all my ignorance was burned away. It were fire, John. We lay in fire. And from that night no woman dare call me wicked any more, but I knew my answer. I used to weep for my sins when the wind lifted my skirts and blushed for shame because some old Rebecca called me loose. And then you burned my ignorance away. As bare as some December tree, I saw them all, walking like saints to church, running to feed the sick and hypocrites in their hearts. And God gave me strength to call them liars. And God made men listen to me. And by God, I will scrub the world clean for the love of him. Oh, John, I will make you such a wife when the world is white again.
She kisses his hand.
You'll be amazed to see me every day, a light of heaven in your house.
He rises and backs away, amazed.
Why? Are you cold?
My wife goes to trial in the morning, Abigail.
Your wife?
Surely you knew of it.
I do remember it now. How is she well?
As well as she may be. 36 days in that place.
You said you came friendly.
She will not be condemned, Abby.
You brought me from my bed to speak of her.
I come to tell you, Abby, what I will do tomorrow in the court. I would not take you by surprise, but give you all good time to think on what to do to save yourself.
Save myself?
If you do not free my wife tomorrow, I am set and bound to ruin you, Abby.
How? Ruin me?
I have rocky proof in documents that you knew that poppet were none of my wife's, and that you yourself bade Mary Warren stab that needle into it.
Wildness stirs in her. Her child is standing here, is unutterably frustrated, denied her wish, but she is still grasping for her wits.
I bade Mary Warren?
You know what you do. You are not so mad.
Oh, hypocrites. Have you won him too? John, why do you let them send you?
I warn you, Abby.
They send you. They steal your honesty and...
I have found my honesty.
No, this is your wife pleading. Your snivelling, envious wife. This is Rebecca's voice, Martha Corey's voice. You were no hypocrite.
I will prove you for the fraud you are.
And if they ask you why Abigail would ever do so murderous a deed, what will you tell them?
I will tell them why.
What will you tell? You'll confess to fornication? In the cart?
If you will have it so, so I will tell it.
She utters a disbelieving laugh.
I say I will.
She laughs louder, now with more assurance he will never do it. He shakes her roughly.
If you can still hear this, hear this. Can you hear?
She is
You will tell
trembling,
the court
staring up at him as though he were out of his mind.
You will tell the court you are blind to spirits, you cannot see them anymore, and you will never cry witchery again, or I will make you famous for the whore you are.
Never in this world. I know you, John. You are this moment singing secret alleluias that your wife will hang.
Throws her down.
You mad, murderous bitch.
Oh, how hard it is when pretense falls. But it falls. It falls.
She wraps herself up as though to go.
You've done your duty by her. I hope it was your last hypocrisy. I pray you will come again with sweeter news for me. I know you will, now that your duty's done. Good night, John.
She is backing away, raising her hand in farewell.
Fear not, I will save you tomorrow.
As she turns and goes downstage.
From yourself, I will save you.
She has gone downstage. Proctor is left alone, amazed in terror, takes up his lantern and slowly exits as lights dim out and curtain falls. Scene 2. The vestry room of the meeting house. There are 3 entrances, one downstage left leading to outside, one at downstage right leading to courtroom, and one upstage right leading to the judge's chambers. In the meeting house proper, beyond the right wall of stage, an examination is going on as the curtain rises. The stage is empty, but we hear off stage.
Now, Martha Corey, there is abundant evidence in our hands to show that you have given yourself to the reading of fortunes. Do you deny it? Call Martha Corey to the court.
I mean, you might have to read in. I'm not sure we've got a Martha Corey.
Oh. Failed to appear.
I'll do it. I haven't got anything else.
Very well.
Oh, okay.
Do you deny
I am
it?
innocent. I am innocent to a witch. I know not what a witch is.
How do you know then that you are not a witch?
If I were, I would know it.
Why do you hurt these children?
I do not hurt them. I scorn it.
I have evidence for the court.
You'll
Voices
keep.
oh, rise in excitement.
You'll keep your seat.
Thomas Putnam is reaching out for land.
Remove that. Remove that man, Marshal.
A roaring goes up from the people.
You're hearing lies, lies.
Arrest him, Excellency.
I have evidence. Will you what? Why will you not hear my evidence?
Corey is half carried into this vestry room by Willard, followed by Paris, all coming from downright.
Hands off, damn you! Let me go!
Giles! Giles!
To Willard, who is pulling him across stage.
Out of my way, Willard! I bring evidence!
You cannot go in there, Giles! It's a court!
Hale enters, going after them. Hale!
Hello.
with us.
Oh, it's stalling forever.
Just re-entering the chat. Hold on.
Hale.
And apologies because Martha wasn't on the cast list, so I didn't realise I hadn't cast her.
Is Hale there?
Should be.
Hale would have done.
Hold on. He's trying to get in. Hold on, it's not connecting properly. Are you there?
He's taking the stage directions very seriously.
Isn't he just?
Hold on. I've got 3 of him at the moment.
I think he's only got one line for a while, so shall we just...
Yeah.
Otherwise we'll be here all night.
Pray be calm a moment.
Oh, I've lost it.
You cannot go in there, Giles. Where are we? Is that the right line?
Yeah.
Yeah.
More or less.
You cannot go in there, Giles. It's a court.
Pray be calm a moment.
You, Mr. Hale, go in there and demand I speak.
A moment, sir, a moment.
They'll be hanging my wife.
Hawthorne enters, nurse enters after Hawthorne.
How dare you come roaring into this court? Are you gone daft, Corey?
Crowd subsides.
You're not a Boston judge yet, Hathorne. You'll not call me daft.
Enter Deputy Governor Danforth, and behind him Ezekiel Cheever. Silence falls. Danforth is a grave man in his 60s of some humour and sophistication that does not, however, interfere with an exact loyalty to his position and his cause. Looking at Corey.
Who is this man?
Giles Corey, sir, and a more contentious...
I am asked a question and I am old enough to answer it. My name is Corey, sir. Giles Corey. I have 600 acres and timber in addition. It is my wife you be condemning now.
He indicates the courtroom.
And how do you imagine to help her cause with such contemptuous riot? Now be gone. Your old age alone keeps you out of jail for this.
They're telling lies about my wife, sir.
Then you take it upon yourself to decide what this court shall believe and what it shall set aside.
Your Excellency, we mean no disrespect for...
Disrespect, indeed. It is disruption, mister. This is the highest court of the supreme government of this province. Do you know it?
He's beginning to weep.
Your Excellency, I only said she were reading books, sir. They come and take her out of my house for a read.
What books? What books? What?
It is my third wife, sir. And I never had no wife that be so taken with books, do you understand, sir? And I thought to find the cause of it, you see, but it were no witch I blamed her for.
He's openly weeping.
I have broke charity with a woman. I have broke charity with her.
He covers his face ashamed. Danforth is respectfully silent. Do we have Hale yet?
Yeah, looks like so.
Not sure he's here.
Okay. Excellency, he claims hard evidence for his wife's defence. I think that in all justice you must...
Then let him submit his evidence in proper affidavit. You are certainly aware of our procedure here, Mr. Hale. Clear this room.
Come on, Giles.
Gently pushes Corey out.
We are desperate, sir. We come here 3 days now and cannot be heard.
Who is this man?
Francis Nurse, Your Excellency.
His wife Rebecca's that were condemned this morning.
Indeed. I'm amazed to find you in such uproar. I have only good report of your character, Mr. Nurse.
I think they must both be arrested in contempt, sir.
Let you write your plea, and in due time I will allow...
Excellency, we have proof for your eyes. God forbid you shut them to it. The girls, sir, the girls are frauds.
What's what?
We have proof of it, sir. They are all deceiving you.
This is contempt, sir, contempt.
Peace, Judge Hawthorne. Do you know who I am, Mr. Nurse?
I surely do, sir, and I think you must be a wise judge to be what you are.
And do you know that near to 400 are in the jails from Marblehead to Lynn, and upon my signature?
And
72 condemned to hang by that signature?
With deference but emphasis.
Excellency, I never thought to say it to such a weighty judge, but you are deceived.
All turn to see Mary Warren enter with Proctor and Corey. Mary is keeping her eyes to the ground. Proctor has her elbow as though she were breakable.
Mary Warren? What are you about here?
She would speak with the Deputy Governor.
Did you not tell me Mary Warren was sick in bed?
She were, Your Honour. When I go fetch her to the court last week, she said she was sick.
She's been striving with her soul, sir. She's been striving with her soul all week, Your Honour. She comes now to tell the truth to you.
Who is this?
John Proctor, sir. Elizabeth Proctor is my wife.
Beware this man, Your Excellency. This man is mischief.
I think you must hear the girl, sir. She...
Oh, wait for us then.
Oh, is Hale here? Sorry.
Yes, sorry. I think you must hear the girl, sir. She...
Peace. What would you tell us, Mary Warren?
She never saw no spirits, sir.
Never saw no spirits?
Never!
He has 3 papers in his hand.
She has signed a deposition, sir.
No, I accept no depositions. Tell me, Mr. Proctor, have you given out this story in the village?
We have not.
They've come to overthrow the court, sir. This man is...
I pray you, Mr. Paris, do you know, Mr. Proctor, that the entire contention of the state in these trials is that the voice of heaven is speaking through the children?
I know that, sir.
And you, Mary Warren, how came you to cry out people for sending their spirits against you?
Between Corey and Proctor.
It were pretense, sir.
I cannot hear you.
It were pretense, she says.
And the other girls? Susanna Walcott and the others? They are also pretending?
Aye, sir.
Indeed. Now, Mr. Proctor, before I decide whether I shall hear you or not, it is my duty to tell you this. We burn a hot fire here. It melts down all concealment. Are you certain in your conscience, mister, that your evidence is the truth?
It is, and you will surely know it.
I take it you came here to declare this revelation in the open court before the public?
I thought I would, aye. With your permission.
Now, sir, what is your purpose in doing so?
Why, I would free my wife, sir.
Then lurks nowhere in your heart. There lurks nowhere in your heart, nor hidden in your spirit, any desire to undermine this court?
Why, no, sir.
I tell you straight, mister. I have seen marvels in this court. I have seen people choked before my eyes by spirits. I have seen them stuck by pins and slashed by daggers. I have, until this moment, not the slightest reason to suspect that the children may be deceiving me. Do you understand my meaning?
Excellency, does it not strike upon you that so many of these women have lived so long with so upright reputation and...
Do you read the Gospel, Mr. Proctor?
I read the Gospel.
I think not. Or you should surely know that Cain were an upright man, and yet he did kill Abel.
Aye, God tells us that. But who tells us Rebecca Nurse murdered 7 babies by sending out her spirit on them? It is the children only, and this one will swear she lied to you.
Judge Hawthorne.
Danforth leans across table to Hawthorne, whispers to him. Hawthorne nods.
Aye, she's the one.
Mr. Proctor, this morning Your wife sent me a claim in which she states that she is pregnant now.
My wife, pregnant?
There is no sign of it. We have examined her body.
But if she says she is pregnant, then she must be. That woman will never lie, Mr. Danforth.
She will not?
Never, sir, never.
Mr. Proctor, if I should tell you now that I will let her be kept another month, and if she begin to show her natural signs, you shall have her living yet another year until she is delivered. What say you to that? Come now, you say your only purpose is to save your wife. Good then, she is saved at least this year, and a year is long. What say you, sir?
Claps hands.
Is it done now? Will you drop this charge?
Proctor thinks and looks at Corey.
I think I cannot.
Then your purpose is somewhat larger.
Triumphantly. Paris?
You're muted.
He's come to this court, Your Honor.
These are my friends. Their wives are also charged.
I judge you not, sir. Sit down. I am ready to hear your evidence.
Nurse crosses to Corey, talks to him. Crossing puts Mary on stool of table.
I come not to hurt the court. I only wish to...
Proctor crosses and talks with Corey and Nurse.
Marshal, go into the court and bid Judge Stoughton and Judge Sewell declare recess for 1 hour, and let them go to the tavern, if they will. All witnesses and prisoners are to be kept in the building.
If you forgive me, sir, I've known him all my life. He's a good man, sir.
I'm sure of it, Marshal.
Willard exits. Danforth crosses up the table to the chair. Paris pulls chair out. Danforth sits, puts on glasses.
Now, what deposition do you have for us, Mr. Proctor? And I beg you be clear, open as the sky, and honest.
I am no lawyer, so
The pure in heart need no lawyers. Proceed as you will.
Handing Danforth paper.
Will you read this, sir? It's a sort of testament. The people signing it declare their good opinion of Rebecca and my wife and Martha Corey.
Danforth looks at paper.
Their good opinion.
Danforth goes on reading.
These are all covenant people, landholding farmers, members of the church. If you'll notice, sir, they've known the women many years and never saw no signs they had dealings with the devil.
Glancing at long list.
How many names are here?
91, Your Excellency.
These people should be summoned for questioning.
Mr. Danforth, I gave them all my word no harm would come to them for signing this.
This is a clear attack upon the court.
Is every defense an attack upon the court? Can no one?
All innocent and Christian people are happy for the courts in Salem.
Meaning people on the list.
These people are gloomy for it.
To Danforth directly.
And I think you will want to know from each and every one of them what discontents them with...
I think they ought to be examined, sir.
It's not necessarily an attack. I think, yet...
These are all covenanted Christians, sir.
Then I'm sure they may have nothing to fear.
Hands Cheever the paper.
Mr. Cheever, have warrants drawn for all of these arrest for examination.
Cheever exits. To Proctor.
Now, Mr., what other information do you have for us?
Nurse is still standing, horrified.
You may sit, Mr. Nurse.
I have brought trouble on these people.
No, old man. You have not hurt these people, if they are of good conscience. But you must understand, sir, that a person is either with this court or he must be counted against it. There be no road between. This is a sharp time now, a precise time. We live no longer in the dusky afternoon when evil mixed itself with good and befuddled the world. Now, by God's grace, the shining sun is up, and them that fear not light will surely praise it. I hope you will be one of those.
Mary suddenly sobs.
She's not hearty, I see.
No, she's not, sir.
To Mary, bending to her, holding her shoulders quietly and kindly.
Now remember what the angel Raphael said to the boy Tobias. Remember it.
Aye.
Do that which is good, and no harm shall come to thee.
Come, man, we wait you.
John, my deposition. Give him mine.
Aye.
Cheever enters. Proctor hands Danforth another paper.
This is Mr. Corey's deposition.
Crosses back to above Mary, pats her shoulder, then drops hands.
Oh.
He looks down at it.
What lawyer drew this, Corey?
You know I never had no lawyer in my life, Hathorn.
Finishing the reading of it.
It is very well phrased. My compliments. Mr. Paris, if Mr. Putnam is in the court, bring him in.
Paris exits.
You have no legal training, Mr. Corey?
I have the best, sir. I am 33 times in court in my life, and always plaintiff, too.
Oh, then you're much put upon.
I am never put upon. I know my rights, sir, and I will have them. You know, your father tried a case of mine, might be 35 years ago, I think.
Indeed?
He never spoke to you of it?
No, I cannot recall.
Oh, that's strange. He gave me £9 damages. He were a fair judge, your father. You see, I had a white mare that time, and this fellow came to borrow this mare, and... Aye, there he is.
Mr. Putnam, I have here an accusation by Mr. Corey against you. He states that you coldly prompted your daughter to cry witch cry upon George Jacobs that is now in jail.
Putnam? Who's Putnam?
Oh, sorry, I got lost. Which page are we on?
56.
56. Bottom.
It is a lie. That's the line.
One line.
Oh, it is a lie.
Mr. Putnam states your charge is a lie. What say you to that?
A fart on Thomas Putnam. That is what I say to that.
What proof do you submit for your charge, sir?
My proof is there.
The paper.
If Jacob hangs for a witch, he forfeit up his property. That's the law. And there is none but Putnam with a coin to buy so great a piece. This man is killing his neighbours for their land.
But proof, sir, proof.
The proof is there. I have it from an honest man who would Putnam say it. The day his daughter cried out on Jacobs, and he said she'd given him a fair gift of land.
And the name of this man?
What name?
The man that gave you this information.
Why, I cannot give you his name.
And why not?
You know well why not. He'll lay in jail if I give his name.
This is contempt of the court, Mr. Danforth.
You will surely tell us the name.
I will not give you no name. I mentioned my wife's name once, and I'll burn in hell long enough for that. I stand mute.
In that case, I have no choice but to arrest you for contempt of this court. Do you know that?
This is a hearing. You cannot clap me for contempt of a hearing.
Oh, it is a proper lawyer. Do you wish me to declare the court in full session here, or will you give me good reply?
I cannot give you no name, sir. I cannot.
You are a foolish old man, Mr. Cheever. Begin the record.
Cheever crosses to stool above table, sits, open writing box and begins to write, puts on glasses.
The court is now in session. I ask you, Mr. Corey.
Your Honour, he has the story in confidence, sir, and he...
The devil lies on such confidences. Without our confidences, there could be no conspiracy, Your Honour.
I think it might be broken, sir.
Old man, if your informant tells the truth, let him come here openly like a decent man. But if he hides in anonymity, I must know why. Now, sir, the government and Central Church demand of you the name of him who reported Mr. Thomas Putnam a common murderer.
Excellency,
Mr. Hale.
we cannot blink it more. There is a prodigious fear of this court in the country.
Then there is and there is a prodigious guilt in this country. Are you afraid to be questioned here?
I may only fear the Lord, sir. There is fear in the country, nevertheless.
Reproach me not with the fear in the country. There is fear in the country because there is a moving plot to topple Christ in the country.
But it does not follow that everyone accused is part of it.
No uncorrupted man may fear this court, Mr. Hale. None. Mr. Corey, you are under arrest in contempt of this court. Now sit you down and take counsel with yourself, or you will be set in the jail until you decide to answer all questions.
Oh.
No, Giles.
I'll cut your throat, Putnam. I'll kill you yet.
Peace, Giles, peace. We'll prove ourselves, now we will.
Say nothing more, John. He's only playing you. He means to hang us all.
This is a court of law, mister. I'll have no effrontery here.
Forgive him, sir, for his old age. Peace, Giles. We'll prove it all now.
Putnam exits, crossing upstage of Mary. Proctor puts his hands on her arms.
You cannot weep, Mary. Remember what the angel said when he says to the boy, hold to it now. There's your rock.
Mary quiets. He takes out a paper and turns to Danforth.
This is Mary Warren's deposition. I would ask you to remember, sir, while you read it, that until 2 weeks ago, she were no different than the other children are today.
Sorry, go on, carry on.
You saw her scream. She howled. She swore familiar spirits choked her. She even testified that Satan, in the form of women now in jail, tried to win her soul away. And then when she refused...
We know all this.
Aye, sir. She swears now that she never saw Satan, nor any spirit, vague or clear, that Satan may have sent to hurt her. And she declares her friends are lying now.
Excellency, a moment. I think this goes to the heart of the matter, sir.
It surely does.
I cannot say he is an honest man. I know him little. But in all justice, sir, a claim so weighty cannot be argued by a farmer. In God's name, sir, stop here. Send him home and let him come again with the lawyer.
Now look you, Mr. Hale.
Excellency, I have signed 72 death warrants. I am a minister of the Lord, and I dare not take a life without there be a proof so immaculate, no slightest qualm of conscience may doubt it.
Mr. Hale, you surely do not doubt my justice.
I have this morning signed away the soul of Rebecca Nurse, Your Honor. I'll not conceal it. I tell you true, sir, my hand shakes yet as with a wound. I pray you, sir, this argument let lawyers present to you.
Mr. Hale, believe me, for a man of such terrible learning, you are most bewildered. I hope you will forgive me. I have been 32 years at the bar, and I should be confounded were I called upon to defend these people. Let you consider now, and I bid you all do likewise. In an ordinary crime, how does one defend the accused? One calls up witnesses to prove his innocence, but witchcraft is ipso facto, on its face and by its nature, an invisible crime. Therefore, who may possibly be witness to it? The witch and the victim, none other. Now we cannot hope the witch will accuse herself. Granted. Therefore, we must rely upon her victims, and they do testify. The children certainly do testify. As for the witches, none will deny that we are most eager for their confessions. Therefore, what is left for a lawyer to bring out? I think I have made my point, have I not?
But this child claims the girls are not truthful, and if they are not...
That is precisely what I'm about to consider, sir. What more may you ask of me, unless you doubt my probity?
I surely do not, sir. Let you consider it, then.
And let you put your heart to rest. Her deposition, Mr. Proctor.
Proctor hands it to him. Hawthorne goes to left of Danforth and starts reading. Paris comes to his side.
I should like to question...
Mr. Paris, I bid you be silent. Sit you down, Mr. Proctor. You, sir, there.
To Mary, indicating bench of table. Proctor takes Mary to the bench, returns and sits at table.
Mr. Cheever, will you go into the court and bring the children here?
Cheever gets up and goes out, and Danforth now turns to Mary.
Mary Warren, how came you to this turnabout? Has Mr. Proctor threatened you for this deposition?
No, sir.
Has he ever threatened you?
No, sir.
Has he threatened you?
No, sir.
Then you tell me that you sat in my court callously lying when you knew that people would hang by your evidence? Answer me!
I did, sir.
How were you instructed in your life? Do you not know that God damns all liars? Or is it now that you lie?
No, sir. I am with God now.
You are with God now.
I, sir.
I will tell you this. You are either lying now or you are lying in the court. And in either case, you have committed perjury and you will go to jail for it. You cannot lightly say you lied, Mary. Do you know that?
I cannot lie no more. I am with God. I am with God.
Breaks into sobs at the thought of it. Enters Cheever, Susanna Walcott, Mercy Lewis, and finally Abigail. Cheever? Do we have Cheever?
Yes, I'm here. Ruth Putnam's not in the court, sir, nor the other children.
These will be sufficient. Sit you down, children.
Silently they sit. Willard enters and stands at the right.
Your friend Mary Warren has given us a deposition in which she swears that she never saw familiar spirits, apparitions, nor any manifest of the devil. She claims as well that none of you have seen these things either. Now, children, this is a court of law. The law is based upon the Bible, and the Bible writ by Almighty God forbid the practice of witchcraft, and describe death as the penalty thereof. But, likewise, children, the law and Bible damn all liars, and bearers of false witness. Now then, it does not escape me that this deposition may be devised to blind us. It may well be that Mary Warren has been conquered by Satan, who sends her here to distract our sacred purpose. If so, her neck will break for it. But if she speak true, I bid you now drop your guile and confess your pretense, for a quick confession will go easier with you. Abigail Williams, rise.
Abigail rises slowly.
Is there any truth in this?
No, sir.
Children, a very augur bit will now be turned into your souls until your honesty is proved. Will either of you change your positions now, or do you force me to hard questioning?
I've not changed, sir. She lies.
You would still go on with this?
Aye, sir.
A puppet were discovered in Mr. Proctor's house, stabbed by a needle. Mary Warren claims that you sat beside her in the court when she made it, and that you saw her make it, and witnessed how she herself stuck her needle into it for safekeeping. What say you to that?
It is a lie, sir.
Mary looks at Abigail and then back.
While you worked for Mr. Proctor, did you see puppets in that house?
Goody Proctor always kept puppets.
Your Honour, my wife never kept no puppets. Mary Warren confesses it was her puppet.
Your Excellency.
Mr. Cheever?
When I spoke to Goody Proctor in that house, she said she never kept no puppets. But she did keep puppets when she was a girl.
She has not been a girl these 15 years, Your Honour.
But a puppet will keep 15 years, will it not?
It will keep if it is kept. But Mary Warren swears she never saw no puppets in my house, nor anyone else.
Why could there not have been puppets hid where no one ever saw them?
There might also be 2 golden candlesticks in my house, but no one ever saw them.
We are here, Your Honour, precisely to discover what no one has ever seen.
Mr. Danforth, what profit Mary Warren to turn herself about? What may she gain but hard questioning and worse?
You are charging Abigail Williams with a marvelous cruel plot to murder. Do you understand that?
I do, sir. I believe she means to murder.
This child would murder your wife?
It is not a child, sir. Now hear me, sir. In the sight of the congregation, she were twice this year put out of the meeting house for laughter during prayer.
What's this? Laughter during...
Excellency.
Do you deny it, Mr. Paris?
I do believe it happened once. She is sometimes silly, but she is solemn now.
Aye, now she is solemn and goes to hang people.
Quiet, man.
Surely it have no bearing on the question, sir. He charges contemplation of murder.
Aye. But it strikes hard upon me that she will laugh at prayer. Continue, Mr. Proctor.
Mary, now tell the governor how you danced in the woods.
Excellency, since I come to Salem, this man is blackening my name. He...
In a moment, sir. What is this dancing?
She glances at Abigail, who's... Sorry.
Mr. Proctor.
Abigail leads the girls to the woods, Your Honour, and they have danced there naked.
Your Honour, this...
Mr. Paris discovered them there in the dead of night. There's the child she is.
Mr. Paris.
I can only say, sir, that I never found any of them naked, and this man is...
You discovered them dancing in the woods.
Eyes on Paris, he points at Abigail.
Abigail?
Excellency, when I first arrived from Beverly, Mr. Paris told me that.
Do you deny it, Mr. Paris?
I do not, sir, but I never saw any of them naked.
But she have danced.
Aye, sir.
Excellency, will you permit me?
Pray proceed.
You say you never saw no spirits, Mary, or never threatened or afflicted by any manifests of the devil or the devil's agents.
No, sir.
And yet, when people accused of witchery confronted you in court, you would faint, saying their spirits came out of their bodies and choked you.
That were pretense, sir.
I cannot hear you.
Pretense, sir.
But you did turn cold, did you not? I myself picked you up many times, and your skin were icy. Mr. Danforth, you...
I saw that many times.
She only pretended to faint, Your Excellency. They're all marvellous pretenders.
Then can she pretend to faint now?
Now?
Why not? Now there are no spirits attacking her, for none in this room is accused of witchcraft. So let her turn herself cold now. Let her pretend she is attacked now. Let her faint. Faint!
Faint?
Aye, faint. Prove to us how you pretended in the court so many times.
I cannot faint now, sir.
Can you not pretend it?
I have no sense of it now.
Why? What is lacking now?
I cannot tell, sir.
Might it be that here we have no afflicting spirit loose, but in the court there were some?
I never saw no spirits.
Then see no spirits now, and prove to us that you can faint by your own will as you claim.
I cannot do it.
Then you will confess, will you not? Attacking spirits made you to faint.
No, sir,
Your Excellency, this is a trick to blind the court.
It's not a trick. I used to faint because I thought I saw spirits.
Thought you saw them?
But I did not, Your Honour.
But how could you think you saw them unless you saw them?
I cannot tell how, but I did. I heard the other girl screaming, and you, Your Honour, You seemed to believe them, and They were only sport in the beginning, sir, but then the whole world cried spirits, spirits, and I promise you, Mrs. Danforth, I only thought I saw them, but I did not.
Surely your excellency is not taken by this simple lie?
Abigail Williams, I bid you now search your heart and tell me this, and beware of it, child. To God every soul is precious, and his vengeance is terrible on them that take life without cause. Is it possible, child, that the spirits you have seen are illusion only? Some deception that may cross your mind when...
Why, this is a base question, sir.
Child, I would have you consider it.
I have been hurt, Mr. Danforth. I have seen my blood running out. I've been near to murdered every day because I done my duty pointing out the devil's people. And this is my reward? To be mistrusted, denied, questioned?
Child, I do not mistrust you.
Let you beware, Mr. Danforth. Think you to be so mighty that the power of hell may not turn your wits? Beware of it.
She shivers and looks at Mary, then folds her arms around her.
There is...
What is it, child?
Backing away to the bench and sits, clasping her arms about her as though cold.
I know not. A wind. A cold wind has come.
Her eyes fall on Mary.
Abby!
Your Honor, I freeze!
They're pretending.
Touching Abigail's hand.
She is cold, Your Honor. Touch her.
Mary, do you send this shadow on me?
Lord, save me.
Susanna rises, looking at Mary, then slowly sits.
I freeze. I freeze.
Mercy hugs her as they shiver.
Abby, don't do that.
Proctor crosses to her, grabs her.
Mary Warren, do you witch her? I say to you, do you send your spirit out?
Let me go, Mr. Proctor. I cannot.
Oh, Heavenly Father, take away this shadow!
Whore! How do you dare call heaven?
Man, what do you think?
It is a whore!
Now here.
You charge...
Mr.
Abigail?
Danforth, he's lying.
Mark her. Now she'll suck a scream to stab me with, but...
You will prove this. This will not pass.
I have known her, sir. I have known her.
A pause, his eyes staring incredulously at Proctor.
You are a lecher.
John, you cannot.
No, Francis. It is true. It is true. She will deny it, but you will believe me, sir. A man will not cast away his good name, sir. You surely know that.
In what time? In what place?
In the proper place, where my beasts are bedded. 8 months now, sir. It is 8 months. She used to serve me in my house, sir. A man may think God sleeps, but God sees everything. I know it now. I beg you, sir, I beg you. See her what she is. My wife, my dear good wife, took this girl soon after, sir, and put her out on the high road. Embodying what she is, sir, a lump of vanity. Excellency, forgive me, forgive me. She thinks to dance with me on my wife's grave, and well she might, for I thought of her softly. God help me, I lusted, and there is a promise in such sweat, but it is a whore's vengeance, and you must see it. I set myself entirely in your hands. I know you must see it now. My wife is innocent, except she knew a whore when she sees one.
You deny every scrap and tittle of this?
If I must answer that, sir, I will leave, and I will not come back again.
Starts for exit.
She does not deny it, Mr. Danforth. She does not deny it.
You will remain where you are. Sit you down.
Looking at Abigail, stops upstage door, turns to him.
Mr. Paris, Go into the court and bring Goodwife Proctor out.
Proctor crosses left. Danforth is peeved at Paris.
Mr. Paris.
Paris stops.
And tell her not one word of what's been spoken here. And let you knock before you enter.
Paris goes out.
Now we shall touch the bottom of this swamp. Your wife, you say, is an honest woman?
In her life, sir, she hath never lied. There are them that cannot sing, and them that cannot weep. My wife cannot lie.
And when she put this girl out of your house, she put her out for a harlot.
Aye, sir.
And knew her for a harlot?
Oh, she knew her for a harlot.
Good then. And if she tell me, child, it were for harlotry, may God spread his mercy on you.
There is a knock at the door. He calls off.
Hold! Turn your back. Turn your back.
She does, facing downright to Proctor.
You do likewise.
Proctor faces off left.
Now let neither of you turn to face Goody Proctor. No one in this room is to speak one word or raise a gesture aye or nay.
He turns towards the door and calls.
Enter!
Elizabeth enters, followed by Paris. She stands alone, her eyes looking for Proctor.
Mr. Cheever, report this testimony in all exactness. Are you ready?
Ready, sir.
Come here, woman.
Elizabeth crosses to right of Danforth, looking toward Proctor.
Look at me only, not your husband. In my eyes only.
She looks at him.
Good sir.
We are given to understand that at one time you dismissed your servant, Abigail Williams.
That be true, sir.
For what cause did you dismiss her?
Elizabeth tries to glance at Proctor.
You will look in my eyes only and not at your husband. The answer is in your memory and you need no help to give it to me. Why did you dismiss Abigail Williams?
Not knowing what to say, sensing a situation, she wets her lips to stall for time.
She dissatisfied me and my husband.
In what way dissatisfied you?
She
glances
Woman,
she glances at Proctor for a cue.
Woman, look at me. Were she slovenly, lazy? What disturbance did she cause?
Your Honour, in that time I was sick, and my husband is a good and righteous man. He is never drunk, as some are, nor wasting his time at the shovel board, but always at his work. But in my sickness, you see, sir, I were a long time sick after my last baby, and I thought I saw my husband somewhat turning from me. And this girl...
Look at me!
Aye, sir. Abigail Williams.
What of Abigail Williams?
I came to think he fancied her. And so one night I lost my wits, I think, and I put her out onto the high road.
Your husband, did he indeed turn from you?
My husband is a goodly man, sir.
Then he did not turn from you.
She starts to glance at Proctor.
Look at me. To your own knowledge, has John Proctor ever committed the crime of lechery?
In a crisis of indecision, she cannot speak.
Answer my question. Is your husband a lecher?
No, sir.
Remove her.
Elizabeth, tell the truth, Elizabeth.
She has spoken. Remove her.
Hale crosses right, following Elizabeth.
Elizabeth, I have confessed it.
Oh, John!
Goes out.
She only thought to save my name.
Excellency, it's a natural lie to tell. I beg you, stop now, before another is condemned. I may shut my conscience to it no more. Private vengeance is working through this testimony. From the beginning, this man has struck me true. I believe him now. By my oath to heaven, I believe him, and I pray you call back his wife before we...
She spoke nothing of lechery, and this man lies.
I believe him. I cannot turn my face from it no more.
Pointing at Abigail.
This girl has always struck me false. She...
Abigail, with a weird cry, screams up to the ceiling.
You will not! Begone, I say, begone!
What is it, child?
Abigail, pointing with fear, is now raising up her frightened eyes, her awed face towards the ceiling. The girls doing the same, and now Hathorn, Hale, Putnam, Cheever, and Danforth do the same.
What's there?
He lowers his eyes from the ceiling, and now he is frightened. There is a real tension in his voice.
Child!
She is transfixed, with all the girls in complete silence. She is open-mouthed, agape at the ceiling, and in great fear.
Girls! Why do you...
It's on the beam! Behind the rafter!
Where?
Why do you come, yellow bird?
Where's a bird? I see no bird.
My face! My face!
Mr. Hale!
Be quiet!
Do you see a bird?
Be quiet!
To the ceiling in a genuine conversation with the bird, as though trying to talk it out of attacking her.
God made my face. You cannot want to turn my face. Envy is a deadly sin, Mary.
Abby!
Unperturbed, continues on to the bird.
Oh, Mary, this is a black art to change your shape. No, I cannot. I cannot stop my mouth. It's God's work I do.
Abby, I'm here.
They're pretending, Mr. Danforth.
Now she takes a backward step, as though the bird would swoop down momentarily.
Oh, please, Mary, don't come down.
Have we got a Susanna?
Claws! She's stuck in her claws!
Lies! Lies!
Backing further, still fixed above.
Mary, please don't hurt me.
I'm not hurting her.
Why does she see this vision?
You cannot believe them.
She sees nothing.
As though hypnotized, mimicking the exact tone of Mary's cry.
He sees nothing.
Abby, you mustn't.
Now all the girls join in, transfixed.
Abby,
you mustn't.
I'm here. I'm here.
I'm
Mary
here.
Warren,
I'm
draw
here.
back your spirit out of them.
Mr. Danforth.
Mr. Danforth.
Have you compacted with the devil? Have you?
Never.
Why can they only
Never.
repeat? Why can they only repeat you?
Give me a whip, I'll stop it.
They're sporting.
They're
They're
sporting!
spotting.
Abby, stop it.
Abby, stop it.
Stop it.
Stop it!
Stop
A
it.
little while ago you were
Stop it!
a little while ago you were afflicted. Now it seems you afflict others. Where did you find this power?
I have no power.
I have no power.
power.
They're gulling you, mister.
Why did you turn about this past 2 weeks? You have seen the devil, have you not?
Mary, goddamns all liars.
You have seen the devil. You have made compact with Lucifer, have you not?
Goddamns liars, Mary.
Mary utters something unintelligible, staring at Abigail, who keeps watching the bird above.
I cannot hear you. What do you say?
Mary utters again unintelligibly.
You will confess yourself or you will hang.
He turns her roughly to face him.
Do you know who I am? I say you will hang if you do not open with me.
Mary, remember the angel Raphael. Do that which is good and...
Pointing upwards.
The wings are spreading. Mary, please don't. She's going to come down. She's walking the beam. Look out. She's coming down.
All scream. Abigail dashes across stage as though pursued. The other girls streak hysterically in and out between the men, all converging downstage right. And as their screaming subdues, only Mary Warren's is left. All watch her, struck, even horrified by this evident fit.
Mary, tell the governor what they...
Don't touch me. Don't touch me.
Mary.
You are the devil's man.
Praise God.
Mary, how...
I'll not hang with you. I love God.
He bid you do the devil's work?
He come at me by night and every day to sign to...
Sign what?
The devil's book? He come with a book?
My name. He want my name. I'll murder you, he says, if my wife hangs. We must go and overthrow the court, he says.
Mr. Hale.
He raped me every night. His eyes were like coals and his fingers claw my neck, and I sign.
Excellency, the child's gone wild.
Mary.
No, I love God. I go your way no more. I love God. I bless God.
Sobbing, she rushes to Abigail.
Abby, I'll never hurt you more.
All watch as Abigail reaches out and draws sobbing Mary to her, then looks up to Danforth.
What are you? You are combined with Antichrist, are you not? I have seen your power, mister. You will not deny it.
This is not witchcraft. These girls are frauds. You condemn an honest man.
I will have nothing from you, Mr. Hale. Will you confess yourself befouled with hell, or do you keep that black allegiance yet? What say you?
I say God is dead.
Crossing towards the door.
A fire is burning. I hear the boot of Lucifer. I see his filthy face, and it is my face and yours, Danforth. For them that quail to bring men out of ignorance, as I have quailed, and as you quail now, when you know in all your black hearts that this be fraud. God damns our kind especially, and we will burn together.
Marshal, take him and Corey with him to the jail.
Crossing down left.
I denounce these proceedings. I quit this court.
You are pulling heaven down and raising up a whore.
Mr. Hale! Mr. Hale!
Curtain falls. Scene 3. 3 months later, a cell in Salem jail. A high barred window at the back. A door upstage right, 2 benches and a stool. The barred window effect was achieved in the Broadway production by making a gobo of small lathes, blah, blah, blah. Sorry. There is only one entrance to this scene. The night sky is seen through the window and moonlight pouring through. The cell is otherwise in darkness, cold shadows blackening it. On the rise, the place appears empty. Off in the distance, the painful bellowing of a cow is heard, crying to be milked. Tituba lying on the right bench, Sarah lying on the left bench. Willard enters with 2 lanterns, drinks from a flask which he carries. Would it be better if...
yeah, I'll start again. It's
Ella,
all right. I'm
you're
here.
there,
I'm here.
cool.
I'll start again. Willard. Crossing towards bench.
Sarah, wake up. Sarah, good.
Crosses to Tituba, shakes her.
Tituba.
Oh, Majesty, come in. Tituba, he's here. His Majesty's come.
Untangling rags from legs and feet.
Go up to the north cell. This place is wanted now.
That don't look to me like His Majesty. Look to me like the Marshal.
Slowly sits up, yawning. Willard takes out a flask.
Get along with you now. Clear this place.
He drinks.
Oh, is it you, Marshal? I thought sure he'd be the devil coming for us. Could I have a sip of cider for my going away?
Willard hands her a flask.
And where are you off to, Sarah?
Untangling rags as Sarah drinks.
We going to Barbados soon. The devil gets here with the feathers and the wings.
Oh, happy voyage to you.
A pair of bluebirds winging southerly, the 2 of us. Oh, it'd be a grand transformation, Marshal.
She raises the flask to drink again.
You best give me that, or you'll never rise off the ground. Go along now.
Tituba rises, picks up her rags.
I'll speak to him for you. If you desire, come along, Marshal.
I wouldn't refuse it, Tituba. It's the proper morning to fly to hell.
Sarah folding rags. Tituba folding rags that covered her.
Oh, it ain't no hell in Barbados. Devil, him be pleasure man in Barbados. Him be singing and dancing in Barbados. You folks, you riles him up round here. It be too cold round here for that old boy. He frees his soul in Massachusetts, but in Barbados, he just as sweet and...
Sarah rises with a bundle. A bellowing cow is heard, and Tituba leaps up and calls to off.
Yes, sir, that's him, Sarah.
Toward window.
I'm here, Majesty.
Hopkins enters. The Deputy Governor's arrived.
Come along, come along.
No, he coming for me. I going home.
Crossing down, taking Tituba's arm, takes a few steps as Sarah crosses to them, takes her arm, pulling her to door.
That ain't Satan. Just a poor cow with a hat full of milk. Come along now, out with you.
Tituba calling toward window.
Take me home, devil. Take me home.
Sarah follows Tituba out to the hallway.
Tell him I'm going, Tituba. So you tell him Sarah Good is going too.
Off stage, Tituba calls, "Take me home, devil, take me home," and Hopkins' voice ordering her to move on. Then Willard returns and clears straw from the bench. Enter Danforth and Judge Hawthorne. They are in greatcoats and wear hats. They are followed in by Cheever, who carries a dispatch case and a flat wooden box containing his writing materials. Cheever crosses slowly near window.
Just gone crazy. What page again? Sorry. Oh, I think I got it. Good morning, Majesty.
Great.
Is that the right one?
Yes, it is.
Cool.
Danforth?
Lost Mr. Danforth.
Yeah.
No, there he is. Top left.
Sorry, he was muted. Where is Mr. Paris?
I'll go fetch him.
Marshal, when did Reverend Hale arrive?
It was toward midnight, I think.
What is he about here?
He goes along with them to hang, sir. He prays with them. He sits with Goody Nurse now.
Crosses to bench and clears straw from it.
Mr. Paris with him.
Indeed, that man have no authority to enter here, Marshal. Why have you let him in?
Hawthorne sits at bench.
Why, Mr. Paris command me, sir. I can't deny him.
Are you drunk, Marshal?
No, sir. It's a bitter night, and I have no fire here.
Fetch Mr. Paris.
Crossing towards entrance.
Aye, sir.
There is a prodigious stench in this place.
Willard stopping at the door.
I have only now cleared the people out for you.
Beware hard drink. Beware hard drink, Marshal.
Aye, sir.
Exits.
Let your question Hale, Excellency. I should not be surprised he had been preaching in Andover lately.
We'll come to that. Speak nothing of Andover. Paris prays with him. That's strange.
Blows on his hands.
I think sometimes Paris has a mad look these days.
Mad?
I met him yesterday coming out of his house, and I bid him good morning, and he wept and went his way. I think it is not well the village sees him so unsteady.
Perhaps he have some sorrow.
Cheever?
Yeah. I think it be the cow, sir.
The cows?
It be here with the cow wandering high roads now. Their masters are in the jails, and much disagreement who they will belong to now. I know Mr. Paris be arguing with farmers all yesterday. There's a great contradiction, sir, about the cows.
Danforth sits at the bench.
Contention make him weep, sir. If there's always a man that weep for contention.
He turns, as do Hawthorne and Danforth, hearing a man coming up the corridor. Danforth raises his head as Paris enters. He is gaunt, frightened, and sweating. To Danforth instantly.
Oh, good morning, sir. Thank you for coming. I beg your pardon waking you so early. Good morning, Judge Hawthorne.
Reverend Hale have no right to enter this.
Excellency, a moment.
Do you leave him alone with the prisoners?
What's his business here?
Prayerfully holding up his hands.
Excellency, hear me. It is a providence. Reverend Hale has returned to bring Rebecca Nurse to God.
He bids her confess.
Sitting.
Here.
Cheever crosses, sits end of bench.
Rebecca have not given me a word this 3 months since she came. Now she sits with him, and her sister, and Martha Corey, and 2 or 3 others, and he pleads with them confess their crimes and save their lives.
Why, this is indeed a providence. And they soften. They soften?
Not yet, not yet. But I thought to summon you, sir, that we might think on whether it be not wise to... There is news, sir, that the court must reckon with. My niece, I believe she has vanished.
Vanished?
Hawthorne rises.
I had thought to advise you of it earlier in the week, but...
Why? How long is she gone?
This be the 3rd night. Mercy Lewis is gone too.
I will send a party for them. Where may they be?
Excellency, I think they may be aboard a ship. My daughter tells me how she heard them speak in the ships last week, and tonight I discover my strong box is broke into.
She have robbed you?
£31 is gone, and I am penniless.
Mr. Paris, are you a brainless man?
Excellency, it profit nothing you should blame me. I cannot think they would run off except they fear to keep in Salem anymore, since the news of Andover has broken here.
Andover is remedied. The court returns there on Friday, and I will resume examinations.
I am sure of it, sir, but the rumor here speaks rebellion in Andover, and it...
There is no rebellion in Andover.
I tell you what is said here, sir. Andover have thrown out the court. They say and will have no part of witchcraft. There be a faction here feeding on that news, and I tell you true, sir, I fear there will be riot here.
Riot? Why, at every execution I have seen, naught but high satisfaction in the town.
Danforth sits at bench.
Judge Haythorne, it were another sort that hanged till now. Rebecca Nurse is no Bridget that lived 3 year with Bishop before she married him. John Proctor is not Isaac Ward that drank his family to ruin. Let Rebecca stand upon the gibbet and send up some righteous prayer, and I fear she'll wake a vengeance on you.
Excellency, she is condemned a witch. The court have...
Pray you, how do you propose then?
Excellency, I would propose these hangings for a time.
There will be no postponement.
Now Mr. Hale's returned, there is hope, I think, for if he brings even one of these to God, that confession surely damns the others in the public eye, and none may doubt more than they are all linked to hell. This way, unconfessed and claiming innocence, doubts are multiplied. Many honest people will weep for them, and our good purpose is lost on their tears.
Cheever, give me the list.
Cheever opens the dispatch case and searches.
It cannot be forgot, sir.
Danforth rises, gets list from Cheever, takes spectacles out and reads by light of lamp.
That when I summoned the congregation for John Proctor's excommunication, there were hardly 30 people come to hear it. That speak a discontent, I think, and...
There will be no postponement.
Excellency...
Now, sir, which of these, in your opinion, may be brought to God? I will myself strive with him till dawn.
Crosses to Cheever, hands list.
There is not sufficient time till dawn.
I shall do my utmost. Which of them do you have hope for?
Excellency, a dagger.
What do you say?
Tonight, when I opened my door to leave my house, a dagger clattered to the ground. You cannot hang this sort. There is danger for me. I dare not step outside at night.
Hale enters. They look at him for an instant in silence. He is steeped in sorrow, exhausted, and more direct than he ever was.
Accept my congratulations, Reverend Hale. We are gladdened to see you return to your good work.
You must pardon them. They will not budge.
You misunderstand, sir. I cannot pardon these when 12 are already hanged for the same crime. It is not just.
Rebecca will not confess?
The sun will rise in a few minutes. Excellency, I must have more time.
Now hear me, and beguile yourselves no more. I will not receive a single plea for pardon or postponement. Them that will not confess will hang. 12 are already executed. The names of these 7 are given out. And the village expects to see them die at dawn. Postponement now speaks a floundering on my part. Reprieve or pardon must cast doubt upon the guilt of them that died till now. Will I speak God's law? While I speak God's law, I will not crack in voice with whimpering. If retaliation is your fear, know this. I shall hang 10,000 that dare to rise against the law, and an ocean of salt tears could not melt the resolution of the statutes. Now draw yourselves up like men and help me, as you are bound by heaven to do. Have you spoken with them all, Mr. Hale?
All but Proctor. He is in the dungeon.
What's Proctor's way now?
Hale sits on the bench. In doorway drunkenly.
He sits like some great bird, not you know. He lived, except he'd take food from time to time.
His wife must be well on with child now.
She is, sir.
What think you, Mr. Paris? You have closer knowledge of this man. Might her presence soften him?
It is possible, sir. He have not laid eyes on these 3 months. On her these 3 months. I should summon her.
Is he yet adamant? Has he struck at you? Has he struck at you again?
He cannot, sir, because he's chained up to the wall now.
Fetch Goody Proctor to me. Then let you bring him up.
Sits to the bench upstage at Paris.
Aye, sir.
Willard goes out. Silence.
Excellency, if you postpone a week and publish to the town that you are striving for their confessions, that speak mercy on your part, not faltering.
Mr. Hale, as God have not empowered me like Joshua to stop this sun from rising, so I cannot withhold from them the perfection of their punishment.
Hale rising, crossing up to door.
If you think God wills you to raise rebellion, Mr. Danforth, you are mistaken.
You have heard rebellion spoken in Salem?
Excellency, there are orphans wandering from house to house. Abandoned cattle bellow on the highlands. The stink of rotting crops hangs everywhere, and no man knows when the harlot's cry will end his life. And you wonder yet if rebellion spoke? Better you should marvel how they do not burn your province.
Mr. Hale, have you preached in Andover this month?
Thank God they have no need of me in Andover.
You baffle me, sir. Why have you returned here?
Why, it is simple. I come to do the devil's work. I come to counsel Christians that they should belie themselves. There is blood on my head. Can you not see the blood on my head?
Hush.
All face the entrance. Willard and Elizabeth enter. Willard goes out again.
Goody Proctor, I hope you are hearty.
I am yet 6 months before my time.
Pray, be at your ease. We come not for your life. We... Mr. Hale, will you speak with the woman?
Goody Proctor, your husband is marked to hang this morning.
I have heard it.
You know, do you not, that I have no connection with the court? I come of my own, Goody Proctor. I would save your husband's life, for if he is taken, I count myself his murderer. Do you understand me?
What do you want of me?
Goody Proctor, I have gone this 3 months like our Lord into the wilderness. I have sought a Christian way, for damnation's doubled on a minister who counsels men to lie.
It is no lie. You cannot speak of lies.
It is a lie! They are innocent!
No more, no more. I'll hear no more of that.
Let you not mistake your duty as I mistook my own. I come into this village like a bridegroom to his beloved, bearing gifts of high religion. The very crowns of holy law I brought, and what I touched with my bright confidence, it died. And where I turned the eye of my great faith, blood flowed up. Beware, Goody Proctor. Cleave to no faith when faith brings blood. It is mistaken law that leads you to sacrifice.
She looks at him, then front.
Life, woman. Life is God's most precious gift. No principle, however glorious, may justify the taking of it. I beg you, woman, prevail upon your husband to confess. Let him give his lie. Quail not before God's judgment in this, for it may well be God damns the liar less than he that throws his life away for pride. Will you plead with him? I cannot think he will listen to another.
I think that be the devil's argument.
Woman, before the laws of God, we are as swine. We cannot read his will.
I cannot dispute with you, sir. I lack learning for it.
Goody Proctor, you are not summoned here for disputation. Be there no wifely tenderness within you. He will die with the sunrise, your husband. Do you understand it? What say you? Will you contend with him?
She is silent, staring at him.
Are you stone? I tell you true, woman. Had I no other proof of your unnatural life, your dry eyes now would be sufficient evidence that you delivered up your soul to hell. A very ape would weep at such calamity. Have the devil dried up any tear of pity in you?
She is silent.
Take her out. It profit nothing she should speak to him.
Let me speak with him, Excellency.
You'll strive with him.
Will you plead for his confession, or will you not?
I promise nothing. Let me speak with him.
A sound. The sibilance of dragging feet on stone. They turn. Pause. Willard enters with Proctor. His wrists are chained. Willard removes them and exits. He is another man, bearded, filthy, his eyes misty as webs had overgrown them. Halts inside the doorway, his eye caught by the sight of Elizabeth. The emotion flowing between them prevents anyone from speaking for an instant. Hale looks upstage. Proctor crosses down slowly toward Elizabeth, looks around, then Hale speaks.
Pray leave them, Excellency.
Exits. Paris and Cheever rise.
Mr. Proctor, you have been notified, have you not?
Proctor is silent, staring at Elizabeth.
I see light in the sky. I see light in the sky, mister. Let you counsel with your wife, and may God help you turn your back on hell.
Proctor is silent, staring at Elizabeth. Danforth exits. Cheever follows, then Haythorne.
If you desire a cup of cider, Mr. Proctor, I am sure I...
Proctor turns an icy stare at him and he breaks off. Harris raises his palms towards him.
God lead you now.
Harris goes out. It is as though Elizabeth and Proctor stood in a spinning world. It is beyond sorrow, above it. They move together, clasp hands.
You have been chained.
The child?
It grows.
There's no word of the boys.
They're well. Rebecca's Daniel keeps them.
You have not seen them.
I have not.
You are a marvel, Elizabeth. They come for my life now.
I know it.
None have yet confessed.
There be many confessed.
Who are they?
There be 100 or more, they say. Goody Ballard is one.
He turns his head away.
Isaiah Goodkind is one. There be many.
Rebecca?
Not Rebecca.
He smiles slightly in admiration, nodding. She then speaks.
She is 1 foot in heaven now. Naught may hurt her any more.
Looking at her.
And Giles?
Have you not heard of it?
I hear nothing where I am kept.
Giles is dead.
When were ye hanged?
He were not hanged. He would not answer aye or nay to his indictment. For if he denied the charge, they'd hang him surely and auction out his property. So he stand mute and died Christian under the law. And so his sons will have his farm. It is the law, for he could not be condemned a wizard without he answer the indictment, aye or nay.
Not looking at her.
Then how does he die?
They press him, John.
Press?
Great stones they lay upon his chest until he pled aye or nay.
With a tender smile for the old man.
They say he gave them but 2 words. More weight, he says, and died.
Nodding, smiling grimly in admiration.
More weight?
Aye, it were a fearsome man, Giles Corey.
With a shy smile, Elizabeth crosses to downstage end of bench and sits.
I have been thinking I would confess to them. What say you, if I give them that?
I cannot judge you, John.
Taking her right hand with his left hand, pulls her down to bench, not looking at her.
What would you have me do?
As you will, I would have it. I want you living, John, that's sure.
Giles's wife. Has she confessed?
Shaking her head.
You will not.
Taking his hand away from her.
It is a pretense, Elizabeth.
What is?
I cannot mount the gibbet like a saint. It is a fraud. I am not that man. My honesty is broke, Elizabeth. I am no good man. Nothing spoiled by giving them this lie that were not rotten long before.
And yet you've not confessed till now. That speak goodness in you.
Spite. Spite only keeps me silent. It is hard to give a lie to dogs.
He takes her right hand, holds it.
I would have your forgiveness, Elizabeth.
It is not for me to give, John. I am...
I would have you see some honesty in it. Let them that never lied die now to keep their souls. It's a pretense for me, a vanity that will not blind God nor keep my children out of the wind. What say you?
John, it come to naught that I should forgive you. Will you forgive yourself? It is your soul, John.
He bows his head.
Only be sure of this, for I know it now. Whatever you will do, it is a good man does it. I've read my heart this 3 months, John. I have sins of my own to count. It needs a cold wife to prompt lechery.
Enough. Enough.
Better you should know me.
Turning away.
I will not hear it. I know you.
Trying to turn him back, taking his hands.
You take my sins upon you, John.
No, I take my own. My own.
I counted myself so plain, so poorly made. No honest love could come to me. Suspicion kissed you and I did. I never knew how I should say my love. It were a cold house. I kept...
Haythorne enters.
What say you, Proctor? The sun is soon up.
Proctor lifts his head.
Do what you will, but let none your judge. There be no higher judge under heaven than Proctor is. Forgive me, John, forgive me. I never knew such goodness in the world.
I want my life.
You confess yourself?
I will have my life.
God be praised. It is a providence.
Haythorne rushes outdoor. His voice is heard calling off stage.
He will confess. Proctor will confess.
With a
Why
cry
do you
rising.
cry it? It is evil, is it not? It is evil.
I cannot judge you, John, I cannot.
Then who will judge me? God in heaven, what is John Proctor? What is John Proctor? I think it is honest. I think so. I am no saint. Let Rebecca go like a saint. For me, it is fraud.
I am not your judge, I cannot be.
Would you give them such a lie? Say it, would you ever give them this? You would not. If tongues of fire were singeing you, then you would not. It is evil.
Sitting.
Good then. Good then. It is evil. And I do it.
Haythorne enters with Danforth, and with them Cheever, Paris and Hale. It is a business-like rapid entrance, as though the ice has been broken.
Praise to God, man. Praise to God. You shall be blessed in heaven for this.
Cheever hurries to the end of the bench, pulls writing box on the stool, prepares to write. Proctor watches him.
Now then, let us have it. Are you ready, Mr. Cheever?
Why must it be written?
Why, for the good instruction of the village, mister. This we shall post upon the church door. Where is the marshal?
Willard!
Paris runs to entrance, calls, then returns to the door.
Willard, hurry!
We hear Willard running off.
Now then, mister, will you speak slowly and directly to the point for Mr. Cheever's sake?
He is dictating to Cheever, who writes.
Mr. Proctor, have you seen the devil in your life? Come, man, there is light in the sky. The town waits at the scaffold. I would give out this news. Did you see the devil?
Looks at him, then away and speaks.
I did.
Praise God.
And when he came to you, what were his demand? Did he bid you to do his work upon the earth?
He did.
And you hound yourself.
No, don't worry.
And you hound yourself to his service?
Danforth turns as Rebecca and Willard enter.
Ah, Rebecca Nurse. Come in, woman.
Willard stays at the entrance.
Ah, John, you are well then, eh?
Courage, man, courage. Let her witness your good example that she may come to God herself. Now hear it, goody nurse. Say on, Mr. Proctor. Did you bind yourself to the devil's service?
Why, John.
Face turned from Rebecca.
I did.
Now, woman, you surely see it profit nothing to keep this conspiracy any further. Will you confess yourself with him?
Oh, John, God send his mercy on you.
Take her out.
I say, will you confess yourself, goody nurse?
Why, it is a lie. It is a lie. How may I damn myself? I cannot.
Proctor turns away.
Mr. Proctor, when the devil came to you, did you see Rebecca Nurse in his company? Come, man, take courage. Did you ever see her with the devil?
No.
Rebecca takes a step toward him.
Did you ever see her sister, Mary Easty, with the devil?
No, I did not.
Did you ever see...
Proctor rises, crosses towards right, aware of Rebecca look at him, hurries past her.
Martha Corey with the devil?
I did not.
Did you ever see anyone with the devil?
I did not.
Sitting at the bench.
Proctor, You mistake me. I am not empowered to trade your life for a lie. You have most certainly seen some person with the devil. Mr. Proctor, a score of people have already testified they saw this woman with the devil.
Then it is proved. Why must I say it?
Why must you say it? Why, you should rejoice to say it if your soul is purged of any love for hell.
They think to go like saints. I like not to spoil their names.
Mr. Proctor, do you think they go like saints? Look you, sir. I think you mistake your duty here. It matters nothing what she thought. She is convicted of the unnatural murder of children, and you for sending your spirit out upon Mary Warren. Your soul alone is the issue here, mister, and you will prove its whiteness, or you cannot live in a Christian country. Will you tell me now what persons conspired with you in the devil's company? To your knowledge, was Rebecca Nurse ever...
I speak my own sins. I cannot judge another. I have no tongue for it.
Excellency, it is enough he confess himself. Let him sign it. Let him sign it.
It is a great service, sir. It is a weighty name. It will strike the village that he confess. I beg you, let him sign it. The sun is up, Excellency.
Come then. Sign your testimony, Mr. Cheever. Mr. Cheever, take it to him.
Cheever gives Proctor a pen.
Come, man. Sign it.
You have all witnessed it. It is enough.
You will not sign it?
You have all witnessed it. What more is needed?
Do you sport with me? You will sign your name, or it is no confession, mister.
Proctor signs.
Your second name, man.
Proctor signs his last name.
Praise be to the Lord.
If you please, sir.
Dumbly looking at paper.
No.
Mr. Proctor, I must have...
Putting paper behind him, childishly befuddled.
No, I have signed it. You have seen me. It is done. You have no need for this.
Proctor, the village must have proof that...
Damn the village. I confess to God, and God has seen my name on this. It is enough.
No, sir, it is not.
You came to save my soul, did you not? Here, I have confessed it. It is enough.
You have not confessed.
I have confessed myself. Is there no good penitence but it be public? God does not need my name nailed upon the church. God sees my name. God knows how black my sins are. It is enough.
Mr. Proctor!
You will not use me. I am no Sarah Good or Tituba. I am John Proctor. You will not use me. It is no part of salvation that you should use me.
I do not wish to use you.
I have 3 children. How may I teach them to walk like men in the world, and I sold my friends?
You have not sold your friends.
Beguile me not. I blacken all of them when this is nailed to the church the very day they hang for silence.
Mr. Proctor, I must have good and legal proof that you are...
You are the High Court. Your word is good enough. Tell them I confess myself. Say Proctor broke to his knees and wept like a woman. Say what you will, but my name cannot be...
It is the same, is it not? If I report it, or you sign to it?
No, it is not the same. What others say and what I sign to is not the same.
Why? Do you mean to deny this confession when you are free?
I mean to deny nothing.
Then explain to me, Mr. Proctor, why you will not let...
Because it is my name! Because I cannot have another in my life. Because I lie and sign myself to lies. Because I am not worth the dust on the feet of them that hang. How am I to live without my name? I've given you my soul. Leave me my name!
Pointing at confession in Proctor's hand.
Is that document a lie? If it is a lie, I will not accept it. What say you? I will not deal in lies, mister.
During this speech, Proctor looks at Danforth, then Rebecca, then Elizabeth.
You will give me your honest confession in my hand, or I cannot keep you from the rope. What way do you go, mister?
Proctor deliberately tears paper once.
Marshal?
Willard comes from entrance to inside room.
Proctor! Proctor!
Man, you will hang! You cannot!
Crosses slowly to Elizabeth, takes her hands for a moment, and simply with dignity.
May God it speaks some goodness for me.
They embrace. He then holds her at arm's length.
Give them no tear. Show them a heart of stone, and sink them with it.
Let you fear nothing. There is another judgment waits us all.
To Willard.
Hang them high over the town. Whoever weeps,
Crossing up toward door.
For these weeps for corruption. Take them.
Proctor crosses to Rebecca. Danforth exits. Haythorne also exits. Rebecca starts for the door and Proctor takes her arm.
Come, man.
Crossing to right of Rebecca, takes her right arm. Rebecca stumbles. Willard and Proctor support her.
I have not had my breakfast.
Willard on her right, Proctor on the other. They go out.
Go to him.
Drum roll.
Goody Proctor, there is yet time.
Paris runs out, though, to hold back his fate.
Proctor! Proctor!
Elizabeth crosses to the window. Crosses to entrance and turns.
Woman, plead with him.
Drum roll. Elizabeth avoids his eyes and Hale crosses to inside the entrance.
It is pride, it is vanity. Be his helper. What profit him to bleed? Shall the dust praise him?
Kneeling upstage of Elizabeth.
Shall the worms declare his truth? Go to him. Take his shame away.
He have his goodness now. God forbid I take it from him.
The drum roll heightens violently. 3 seconds, and then the curtain falls.
Woo!
Yay!
Very good, guys. Very good.